champions. Celtic way, wait for the ball from side to side, and until they try to hide, the wait for the ball from front to back, attack, 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 67, and then he's a burst man, the buzzing and the bounce.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to episode number 227 of the Bawz and Bovril podcast, Celtic own Celtic Rumours TV. Myself, Mark, we've got Paul Ways tonight. How you doing, Pablo?
All good, bye. All good. Good to be on. Good to be on. It's been a while, though. It's good to be on.
Aye. We need to sort you out a wee daft picture of somebody with a man bun to get up in the skin when you come on.
Nah.
As I say, this is our podcast for our forum. You can find that at www.CelticRumoursTV.co.uk. Link to that and everything, the Discord, that the link to that's in the description box below through our link tree. Few shout outs to some of the lads on the forum. Terence is on Turkey playing golf, you know, so alright for some, I suppose, you know what I mean.
Yes, he's getting his hair done, that's what he is.
I said that he'll come back with a Danny Rowe hairdo. Come back. But that'll be the next time he'll be competing with you for the man bun of the year. Bull JFP, Big Campsy Boy, Mad Dog McGinn, Old Tim Alloy, Mikey, Jonas, Wee John United Ireland, Big Jabber, Steph, Deef Kev, Welshie, Malika, and TB for the Discord. Hope you're all doing well. Who have we got in? Bobby was obviously first in. McMullen, nice to see you, mate. Grotbags, nice to see you, I suppose. Michael and Bobby, all that sort that's mentioned then. Right, Paul, we've not been on for a while, sir. What's your take on Celtic so far, just in general?
And it shows, Mark, you play your best winger in the club. You score goals, don't they? And it's unbelievable to say that James Forrest is still the best winger at the club. You know, he's about the only one, I think, that who's putting balls in the box. You know, it's very frustrating when you watch Tenetki, and he has the beating of the player. He turned back and he's running into 2-3 players. But you have James Forrest who knows, get to the byline, cross the ball, and your chances are you're not going to score goals back if you don't cross the ball.
No.
And it's shown in the last couple of games there when James Forrest came on against Falkirk. He came on in the final against the semi-final against St. Mirren. Extra time, he changed the game for us again. You know, so I think going forward, Mark, is it going down to what Brendan Rodgers did come January and start playing James Forrest, trying to get the games won and take him off.
I mean, no disrespect to James Forrest. I mean, he said he's up and downs as a Celtic player, and he said up and downs and well, do you know what I mean? My kind of opinion of him, do you know what I mean? But he's still at the club, and it's a sad state of affairs, Paul. But you're right, he probably is our best winger, don't he?
Yeah, he is.
I mean, Yang, I like Yang. Yang's got something about him. Do you know what I mean? I think there is a
well, at least Yang would want to, but at least Yang runs to the byline, Mark, and tries to create square. But watching today, he's very frustrating. Like he really is. Like he just constantly wants to take players on, and he loses the ball as much as he crosses it.
I was talking to Deef Kev about him the other day. He seems to reckon that even Taneki says he's better off in the right.
I actually thought he played well there when he came on. Yeah, because he can't go back onto his left back and he's crossing the ball.
Mm.
You know, I actually prefer, but then we're going back to Rodgers Denmark, and then Rodgers said he can't play in the. Do you know?
But see, I mean, that's the thing. it came up in the forum again the other day, Paul. It's like, and we're talking about, Bobby, I don't mean as a first choice, but Yang is an option. I mean, for me, Yang's good enough to be our number 2 right winger. Do you know what I mean? That's what I would say. That I think is at least for the situation we're in now and how poor we are throughout the squad. I don't think our main problem is Yang. Do you know what I mean? I don't think he's the best player we've got, but he's not by any means the worst either. I don't think, Paul.
No, he's like for player, Mark. We were going to sell only for we didn't have a replacement for him.
Aye. But that's what I was saying, going to say there, right? Come up in the forum again, and everybody, we're all moaning about it, right? And we've done it for seasons because this isn't a new thing in the Celtic team about the players, and it's the cutting inside all the time. It's so. And see if you're a defender, Paul, the ball's coming to that winger. The defender knows where he's gone with that. He's cut
every time.
Aye. And I've said this in the forum, I've said it on podcast. For me, it should be right because we've said it before about with Rodgers, we've horseshoe football and that we spoke about it. For me, people are blaming the players, but that's down to the coaching and the tactics that are telling the players to do that.
I think it's bred. I think it's so much bred into him now, Mark.
Aye.
And I think I was actually because I saw your I was listening to the last podcast and I was listening to this, and I think the main culprit is McGregor, and the reason he's the main culprit, Mark, because he doesn't have the legs anymore, Mark, and he McGregor, instead of him passing the ball to Yang or Ingles, he's getting Scales to do it. So I'm missing that one pass that McGregor could actually pass the ball himself.
Aye. And McGregor did have, I mean, again, we've spoke about how he's kind of, even for the player he was when he was playing beside Scott Brown, to the player he is now, right? A lot of it's maybe down to age and the amount of games he's played out his career and stuff like that. But McGregor should still be, I mean, I'm not comparing him to anybody like that, like Pirlo or that, but McGregor should be able to just sit in the middle of that park and ping the ball about the park. He shouldn't need to. Man. It shouldn't. I mean, he still needs to run, but it doesn't need to be running about daft. No matter what Celtic player has got the ball, Cal McGregor's within 5 yards of them looking for it.
Exactly.
And demanding it and taking it and then passing it back to them, passing it back to the player that's just gave him it, or passing it another 5 yards to the side of him. McGregor should be looking for these passes through the channels and stuff like that, and he just gets the ball and retains the ball. That's all he does. It's like he just keeps the ball moving, but doesn't do anything with it. It's really, really frustrating because he's the player that's meant to be driving the team forward. That it's on him. He should be setting the tempo. He should be setting the attacking. That we're pushing all the time. We're pushing onto the opposition and pressuring them. And he's not, because he's too busy back between the centre half trying to get the ball off them.
Mm-hmm.
Aye, it's the definite weakness in the team for me, right? But I know the striker bit's a bit of a shit heap and all the way things are, but it's the midfield. The midfield's just never. We've never sorted out that midfield over the last maybe two seasons. Do you know what I mean? I mean,
it just McGregor, the amount of stick Ingles used to get, and look, the midfield is actually a different team since he came back.
Mm.
And
I mean, Nygren, Nygren's a bit an enigma. Do you know what I mean? Because people are like, he doesn't do this, he doesn't do that, and then other people are saying, but look at his goals and assists, and you've got to admit, without his goals and his goals and assists, Paul would be nowhere. Would be nowhere. Would be in a title race.
Average player marking in an average team. You know?
But he seems to know where the goal is. And
I said him in 2 seconds. No, if a big came in for
Nygren, would you?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
I
just think, Mark, the midfield is too weak for him. The midfield is very
but that's what I'm getting at, Paul. I don't think he's.
And is this formations? Is this midfield
that's what I'm getting
actually suiting him? You know, like is he better as a number 10?
That's what I'm getting at, Paul.
Yeah.
See, I've said it on other pods and that. See if we could go back to a 4-2-3-1. I think that team was that squad and the team we've got, that would suit us great. Do you know what I mean? Negrin is a 10. He doesn't need to do any hard work in the midfield.
No, but that's what I'm saying. And I think that's why all this thing is coming into people not think, because he's in that midfield market and he won't. It's not that he won't tackle; he just can't tackle, and he can't. He doesn't have the speed to get back. But you're right. Like, and with all these goals, we'd be lost. But isn't that a shame then, Mark? Then like the Negrin's our top goal scorer this season. That's and I see people there. Then it's good to see Dyson Meader, Backroom's all stuff. And I'm looking, going, really, 4 games to go, and Dyson Meader's back to himself. Where was he for the rest of the season? The only reason I think Dyson Meader is up in his game now, because he wants to get into the Japan World Cup and he wants to get that move that he's going to get to another club. That's the only reason Dyson Meader, I think, is up in his game.
No, but Paul, see, to be honest, I'm no caring. See if he's up, whatever he's up in his game for. As long as it ends up helping Celtic win the league, who cares? To be honest, what I mean.
It just shows, Mark, where we.
It has been a wee bit. He's been a wee bit.
Where have we been, Mark? Do you know what I mean? Where has he been? Like, you know what I mean? Do you know, like, we could have been a lot further ahead, only for that fucking gobshite fucking Nancy. The league be over. Jesus Christ!
Have we had you on for Nancy was here, Paul?
No, I refused to come on to talk about it.
That's right. That's right. You pure spat the dummy out when he was here, didn't you?
Yeah, I didn't watch him, Mark. Didn't watch him. No, I didn't watch him when he was on. I said that to you, Mark. I will not watch Celtic if he's in charge. And until he's gone, I'll watch Celtic again. And I did not watch one game with him. I just
Evening, Pat. Evening, Pat. Thanks for coming in, mate.
I was even watching Leeds and Manchester United match there 2 weeks ago when Leeds beat, and Ampadou's son plays with them, sent back for Leeds, Ampadu. And the camera went down to him, and I just looked and goes, do you know your dad's a fucking dick? That's the exact words I said to myself. Your dad's a dick. Calling himself a Celtic supporter. He nearly drove us to the fucking ground. That's what he did. He did drive us to the fucking ground. Jesus Christ, we went to hell with them, boy. We were cursed.
Aye.
We were cursed. Jesus Christ, man. Thank God the St. Martin Lee came back. Fuck back. We could have finished in the bottom 6, man, if Nancy was still in charge, man. Jesus Christ, like.
That would never. Paul, honestly, that would have surprised me. And the thing about it as well was, Paul, right? I don't know, right, whether Nancy was some kind of daft footballing guru genius that we might all get proved wrong with in the future, right? But there's no manager that I can think of that would come in like halfway through a season and just rip the plan up as much as he did. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? They were talking about it with our wingers, Paul. It's like ingrained into the Celtic team how we kind of play this kind of boring way. We seem to keep falling into it, and that's why the players they didn't have a clue what was going on. Do you know what I mean? There's no question about it. The Celtic play, and for me as well. But I mean, sometimes I think we kind of overthink football. Do you know what I mean? It's all too micromanaged on the park, and
Mark, I watched
like robots.
I watched the best game of football ever in a long time last. And I suppose that Bobby and the lads on the channel probably watched as well. PSG and Bayern Munich last night, man, and it was just attacking football that I saw when I was growing up. Attacking football, It was unbelievable. But football, but this has come down to Pep. Pep brought in all this.
Aye.
People were saying there last night on the commentary, they heard in Ireland, Man City are regretting not signing Elusi, the winger for Bayern Munich that he played with Crystal Palace.
Aye.
And I'm looking going, Guardiola would have had destroyed him, Mark. He would have destroyed him because at least he wants to run with the ball, have the freedom to run with the ball. Look at Jack Grealish. He destroyed Jack Grealish. Right. Jack Grealish was a fine player. And it's just you have to stick in your positions with Pep, Mark. Do you know what I mean? And it's just destroying football, man. It's destroying football. No, man, it's not the same. When I was growing up and watching people attacking and stuff like that.
mean,
Do you know what I mean?
but even down the hang, Paul, even the way Man City play, kind of hang under Pep, it's not even compared to his Barcelona team.
No.
I mean, we've spoken about this before, right? And it's like when people talk about bringing, like, if Steve Clarke was the Celtic manager, right? And I go back to Davy Moyes, the same kind of thing going to Man United. People see them as like a negative manager. But they're only peeing with the bobby they've got, Paul. So Steve, like when Moyes went to Man United, I was expecting Moyes to say, right, I've got the money now to buy top players, and so it would become more. Do you know what I mean? He could show the way that he wanted fit, but he wanted the game to be played because he's allowed to get the better players in that, rather than fighting against relegation, which he to set teams up today. But for me, I know Pep's went back the way as well for what he set out like with that Barcelona team that he had.
He's a fine player there now, Turkey's freaking. He kind of gives him the freedom now to kind of go where he wants, which is unlike Pep, like, you can't hang with the boys' record with trophies in that, Guardiola, but he's got a lot to answer for wasting a lot of the entertainment out of football. He really has. I just want to come there to McLaughlin's post there about Kasper Schmeichel. And this has been, like, I haven't been on in a while now, Mark, but there's been things spinning in my head about fucking Celtic. I need to question Stevie Woods and the medical team about Schmeichel's decision. The player, in my mind, is in no right to decide I'm playing, I'm grand, I'm playing. Stevie Woods and the medical team should have said to him, "You're not fit to play." You know what I mean? For me,
certain players in that they can play through the pain barrier and different positions. But not a goalkeeper with a shoulder injury. Do you know what I mean?
You could see, like, and I don't know, Mark. I'm actually questioning Stevie Woods now over that, man. Is it time we actually had a huge overhaul in our backroom staff and the medical? Look at all our injuries this year, Mark. All of our injuries. Yeah,
it's all been the same kind of injury in that too, isn't it? And that's a lot of from what I've kind of known and read about it, there does seem to be like injuries that are more to do with like poor training, isn't it? Really.
And this decision, when Johnston was ready to come back, and then he went off for Canada to play he wasn't playing, but he trained then with Canada over in Canada for a friendly match. He trained, and then he had another break that set him back another 2 weeks. I mean, like, who's making these decisions at the club, Mark? Do you know what I mean? It seems to me that the players can fucking do what they want at Celtic at the moment. Do you know? Like, there seems to be no one stamping their foot down, like,
There's been some odd decisions. As you said, the Alistair Johnson thing was a bit weird.
Yeah,
I mean, fair dues if he wanted to travel and be with the squad, but
no issues with that. But then train over there, what the club aware that he was going to do? Were we not aware that he was going to be doing that, Mark?
Well, you wouldn't like to think so, do you know? I mean, again, but Paul, you'd like to think that the medical staff would be on top of that. Maybe it was just a freak, Paul. Do you know what I mean? Maybe all the signs were that he would be fine. What's the difference between doing a training session with Celtic and doing a training session with Canada? Do you know what I mean? Maybe it was just a bit of a freak thing, but it'd have been better off staying in Glasgow for me. As I said, Celtic pay his wages and stuff like that, but do you think he'll still be here next season, AJ?
Mark, you know what, man? It depends on the World Cup. Do you know what I mean? It depends, like, a lot of our players now. Like, it depends on, like, we don't have many players in the World Cup, really, do we? We Johnston, Negrin, who else? Tierney.
Tierney will be there.
Nelson be there.
Did Ireland qualify?
No, we did no shit qualify.
No.
We went to penalties against the Czech. You know.
Well, so you did. That shows you what I know. Do you know
You're
what
better
I mean?
off. Probably get hammered again, then you get fucking stupid spastic singing the fields of Athenry. We're after getting fucking hammered 6-0 by Spain again, and they'll be on the stand singing the fields of Athenry, disgracing the fucking nation. Fucking gobshites. Fucking, oh, we love the Irish. Oh, they're fucking some langer crossing the road with fucking sick all over his 1980s Opel Joys that his fucking granddad gave to him. Fuck on, man. I had a fella come up to me the other day, though, that shit 6'7", a young fella.
Say that again.
That's 6'7" shit that they do.
I don't know. I've heard it, but I don't know what it is, Paul.
I don't know what it is, but some young fella there and was playing football out in the state. The young fella's there and they're, 6'7", they've all 6'7". Shut up, you spastic. I said, that's fucking about a month old. No, I said, cop yourself on, you're disgracing yourself. I said to him, he's only about 8. I'm after turning into a right grump in the estate, by that's why I'm like, Jesus Christ. I'm like that fella, what's his name? No, I'm not like him at all. Jesus Christ, wrong person. Mr. Herbert and the Family Guy says.
Aye.
I'm not him anyway at all. I'm the wrong person, Simon. I don't have no swizzle sweets in my fucking boots. You know? Jesus Christ.
Joey Hart's defeat to Hibs and United.
What's that?
I'm just reading the chat there to see what they were talking about. They lost more points in the league than Nancy.
I think, Mar. I think, Mar, if you combine, is it Martin O'Neill's 2 cents, he has more points and kind of wins than Danny Orr and McGuinness in the same kind of time frame. So, some fella was talking about it there, and he was saying, like, if you're going by that, like, Mark, I'd take 1-0 and 2-0 wins all day long.
Oh,
you know what I mean?
Definitely. You get the win, then you worry about the kind of fancy football. And talking about that, while we're on that, Big Iheanacho, why no start Iheanacho?
See, Mark, that's what I can't understand, right? So he's saying Iheanacho isn't that much fit to start the game, all right? But when you can clearly see then that Callum Mack isn't over his injury fully.
Mm-hmm.
So he's contradicting himself what he's saying. Like, if you want to win the league, Mark, you start your best team, in my opinion, and he is our best striker at the club.
I mean, fair dues.
You just see it, man.
Aye, fair dues. I said it at the weekend, and then Maeda done the damage. But still, if Iheanacho's only fit, if he's fit for 45 minutes, half an hour, you know as well when we're in the first half, Paul.
Mm-hmm. He's not going to run for you, Mark.
No,
but what he
put Bawz into that box, exactly. And he'll score goals.
He's going to be there. Do you get me? You know, that's what he's doing. He knows how to position himself. He can. Luckily, not now, Mark. Like, he can read the game. You know, and he knows where the ball. Like that touch there, he scored there in the semi-final. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's like he stopped the ball and just shot it into the top corner, man. That was class.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and people said, "Oh, he was only saved." There was no keeper saving that. I still
think Iheanacho is probably the best striker we've got at the club. The best.
Most definitely, man.
And maybe, that wee young boy Osmond's due back as well. I mean, not saying he's going to be our saviour, but that wee guy, mind his pace that he had, Paul, that would be frightening for us to fling that guy.
You'd be just worried about him, Mark. Do you know what I mean? Coming in too soon, like a young fella after a long injury out, like, you know, he kind of.
But Paul, you throw him on with 10 minutes to go and stuff like that. Just actually speed and movement and stuff like that.
Because he had, like, that's one thing you say about him. Like, but back there's another player, then we were taught that's not good enough. Do you know what I mean? And no wonder he pulled up, Mark, because he wasn't playing games. He wasn't getting a look in. He was down to B team at one stage, so wasn't he playing in the fucking Lowland League? You know.
Osmond, aye.
We pulled out that next season, I heard, did we?
No, we've not pulled out it, Paul. It's just a lot of people think came out with like the clickbait headline. We'd led pulled out the Lowland League, and all the B team would all be their contracts were all getting renewed at the end of the season and all that. But it was all nonsense. It's just been a kind of a rejigging. I think there's going to be I think it's something like there's going to be like a B team East or B team West. It's something like that, but it's just like a rejiggery the B team setup. But I think we're still going to be part of it. Bobby or somebody will know in the chat. I'm sure that's
it'd be like two different teams, like one that's kind of ready to step up, and then one team that's kind of
it's different. I think it's different geographical, just that kind of way, Paul. I don't think it's anything that's going to aid or help Celtic in any way the way we want it today. But I think it's just more like a league restructure and doing the mere geography stuff.
Mm-hmm. It probably makes more sense, all right, don't it? We have to see what they're going to do. Versus 2-2, Mark, to be talking about that, but we've 4 vital games to I don't know about the Hibs game, because Easter Road is always a tough base to go, but in the back of my head, Mark, I'm thinking Hibs don't want Hearts to win that league. Do you know?
Aye. I mean, you know what I like talk about teams lying down, but it all goes back to the actual psychology stuff, Paul. It's always in the back of your head whether you want it to be or no. Do you know what I mean? It's like we've spoke about it. If you were a referee, you could go there with every intention to be as straight down the middle and that as you want. But if you're refereeing in a Rangers game, it's against your nature. It goes out. Do you know what I mean? Nobody can block that out of their mind. I don't think, Paul, when it comes to like referees and stuff like that. And even like football players, do you know what I mean? When they know what's at stake, if they win, that could mean their greatest rivals. A lot of Hibs players that go through the system, they feel about Hearts the way we feel about Rangers. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely, right, definitely. But Marcus, look, at the end of the day, Mark, we have to turn up. You know what I mean? And I think that's the thing about Celtic. That's the thing about Celtic, Mark, and the players this season. If we turn up. Seems to be the big issue with Celtic.
Because we know, Paul, that if Celtic they turn up, that nobody in Scotland can lay a glove on us. I'll say that now. Even with the kind of poorer quality players we've got now. See, even if the Celtic team turns up in the right mood, we saw it in the first bit of extra time in the cup semi-final the other week. What that team can do when it clicks. We've seen it in flashes and that throughout the season. It's just they're not doing it enough.
It has to be the right lineup too, Mark. I know Martin O'Neill gets things, but you have to question some of his lineups then as well, like the chopping and changing every. Do you know what I mean? There seems to be no kind of steady starting 11. I know he was caught with injuries, but give players the same 11 players. I think he's going to start the same team that he started last weekend.
Aye, probably.
And the reason that the lads were saying there, Srirachi on the left, which I agree, which I think is a good idea. But what I think is Martin O'Neill thinking of that, Mark, is what he won't do it in case Tierney pulls up or Srirachi pulls up in the same game. So I'm thinking that's the only, because both of them, as we know, had issues with freaking hamstrings and pulling up and stuff like that, because Tierney's not going to last a full game, Mark, and I certainly don't think Srirachi's going to last a full game with all the injuries he's had. So I think that's why Martin O'Neill won't try that.
It could be, aye.
Because like he does have pace.
Definitely.
There's rumours that we're looking to sign him.
I was going to say that. Would you be happy with that?
Well, do you know what, Mark? A lot of people are saying, would I go for Robertson or Srirachi? I'm looking good. I go for Srirachi all day long.
Mm-hmm. I take Sir Archie for Robertson, definitely.
What would you get out of Robson, Mark? 2 years max? 2 years? How old is Robson now? 34? 33, 34?
Aye. Again,
great playing all that, Mark, you know what I mean? But do we want to go down this road, Mark? You know what I mean? Like, what criminal fucking, you know?
Especially when we know how kind of, I mean, I've been on about it, KT's injury risks and all that kind of thing, right? He's done well for us this season, no doubt about it, but the injury risk always hanging over his head. It's always going to be there. So if you're sitting with KT as your left back and Andy Robertson, if they're your two battling for the left back position, KT gets injured and you're asking that Robertson to play, do you know what I mean, every week, you know that. But I'm totally against signing Andy Robertson, even on a free transfer. I just don't see the point in it whatsoever.
I think it's an easy way out for the Celtic board, Mark, in not spending money again if we went for Robson. That's my opinion. You know, it's you know,
the talk is he'll go to Spurs if they stay up, Paul. So that shows you how desperate he is to play for Celtic. Do you know what I mean? He can't be that desperate if he's thinking about, oh, if Spurs stay up, I'll go to them. But I mean, you could go to end. There are hundreds of players out there that would love to play for Celtic or would have loved to play for them and all that kind of thing. But just because you did doesn't mean that you should.
Exactly, Mark, and why are we taking them at the end of their careers? Like, you know what I mean? You know, like even Roy Keane said that, like he should never came up to Celtic. You know what I mean? He always wanted to play for, but he said he shouldn't have went up there when he knew himself he wasn't able to do it. Like, you know,
aye.
You know, that's the thing. Like, we seem to be getting players. Like, I mean, you don't have to be a Celtic. Like, I don't know, man. It's just coming in with your retirement fucking age now. You know what I mean?
Aye, coming to just to kind of tick it off in your CV and, oh, he's a good Celtic man. Do you know what I mean? He built there doing the wee dance that Kyogo used to do in front of the fans after we win and all that, just being a pure law. Do you know what I mean? But you're like, well, I mean, you were at Celtic and we let you go.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, a great career, you can't doubt that for the guy, do you know what I mean? But that's it, your time's done. You had your chance with Celtic for whatever reason, and I've said this before as well. If Andy Robertson had stayed at Celtic, he wouldn't be the player he is today.
No, well, without doubt, Mark.
Because I keep saying it, Paul, the young players need to be out there and learning even for a wee bit for different coaches, different, do you know what I mean, the hard working again. Do you know what I mean? They need to get to these, look at even, we've spoke about it, David Beckham doing it, was it Preston he gets sent to with Ferguson? They all used to get sent down to show what it was like and how hard it was to be a football player at these smaller clubs and stuff like that, to appreciate what they had and learn the ropes. And that's what Robertson done. He went away and worked and became as I said, a cracking player. But no, his time as a top player's done. So I don't want him at Celtic just to top up his retirement fund and tick a box for another Celtic supporter. Do you know what I mean? We can't do that. We need to move on for that kind of thing, Paul.
Definitely. We can't even hold on to our fucking 17-year-old players now, man. They're all just freaking leaving. They're all just leaving the club. There seems to be like, go on about this pathway thing. That's just out the window now at the moment with Sean Maloney. You know what I mean? So I don't know. Is Sean Maloney going to go back to that role, Mark, or do you think he's going to stay around the coaching team? You know, one fella I'd like to take back is Fozzie. You know, is that what they call him? Fozzie. You know,
Mark Fotheringham.
But he seems to be there with the players, Mark, after games, like going up, hugging them, and do you know what I mean? Do you know that's what you want, Mark? That's what you want, the connection between the backroom staff and stuff like that. Like, you know, not a fucking Egypt with a fucking stupid little cardboard place of and chest things on top of it. You know, Jesus Christ! And if we go for Thomas Frank, I'm done.
Have you seen the size of his?
He's a bigger fucking. That's like saying he's a bigger board. Jesus Christ! They want to put his board up in the fucking TV screen. That's what.
It's like a big 4K version, isn't it?
Well, I don't know, Mark. How? Like, if we say no, right? If the board go for him, right? Okay. There's two things I tell you about now, right? One,
Who we talking about?
Thomas Frank. If Celtic
Right.
went for him, right? Like the one thing is, right? He likes physical players, big physical players, right? Celtic don't have those big physical players. All right. He likes a big centre forward. Celtic don't have a big centre forward. And he likes defence. He plays defence. And I thought the Celtic way is about attacking, that this is the way the board wanted to be. That's why they brought in this fella, Nancy. Christ, I can't believe I'm saying his name again. This is why they brought in Nancy to play this good, attracting football. But then you're going the opposite way. Even when he went to Spurs, Mark, Spurs was saying that, like, this is the way they brought in Ange to get away from the likes of what Jose Mourinho had, defensive football. They didn't want to play that way, and then they went to and that's why people are saying it actually failed at Spurs, because he didn't have the players that Thomas Frank played. Yeah, didn't have these physical players, Mark. And I think that was just that crash, Mark. If that happened, man, Thomas Frank, and I'd be totally against it, man.
I can't see it happening. I know it's been about the place and stuff like that. I mean, well, the talk, everybody knows that the talk's like it's going to be Keane and Scott Brown and that.
Mark, I think it is, Mark, because he gave an interview there again at the weekend, and he was asked about Celtic, and his response was different to his last one. Never say never. You know, so I think there's already.
Well, that's what I was going to say. I mean, I think it was all Tim Alloy said to me the other week on the forum about it, and that was the first time he heard about it. Do you know what I mean? He's like, about Robbie Keane. I was like, oh no, I said he's been linked for a while. And I said to him, and to be honest, that's been surprised me. That's who I think it's going to be. It's not who I want it to be, but I think that's who it's going to be. See that stuff with Scott Brown and all that. That was all. I don't know what the Scottish media has done with that story for that Laszlo that was at Hearts, but it's a totally nonsense thing that Johnny Hayes and Scott Brown were already meeting.
No, that was that's a UEFA. They were doing a UEFA
badge singing that, and Scott Brown and Robbie Keane are still kind of friendly for their time at Celtic, but
it was held over in Hungary, so that's why they actually went to watch the match.
And obviously Scott Brown's met his pal, his old Celtic teammate, Robbie Keane, so there was no great meeting. Do you know what I mean?
No, I think King Mark would want to bring his own staff, because he kind of kept the staff kind of with him where he went when he was in Tel Aviv. He had the kind of same people around him, so I think he kind of would want. I'm not against that either, Mark. You know what I mean? The manager bringing in his own thing, but if you're doing that, I want someone from Celtic to be
I was just going to say that
team as well, because I think that's what happened to that gobshite.
Fotheringham, or even Maloney, but you'd want what, like he's a Fotheringham or Maloney in there. The way people used to say Kennedy was the board's spy in the camp and all that. I'm not believing that, but you need somebody in there with a bit of, even though Robbie Keane's, we know he's played for the club and knows what it's all about, but you still want somebody that's been about the club for a few years to be in that the kind of backroom bit somewhere.
I was told something interesting about Kennedy, right? And I don't know how true it is. That when Tisdale came in, he supposedly called Rodgers and Kennedy and Rodgers' backroom staff, all of them into a meeting with Nicholson and what's the other fella's name, Mark McKay. They were all in a meeting, and basically Tisdale told them, this is the plan, this is where we're going forward. He goes, I know, John, you've been here for so long and you've a lot of say in what team goes, and you look at players and scout players for it, but he said that's all stopping now. You're an assistant and you need to act like it's an assistant. And I was told that Tisdale actually said, and Kennedy's role within the club actually was stripped totally by Tisdale. That's why he walked at Rodgers that time, because he didn't know if Tisdale was still going to be there, or he didn't know what was going to happen, that he wasn't going to work with Tisdale.
Well, it seems to be the same with Nancy, with Stevie Woods, wouldn't it? Mind all the talk about Stevie Woods leaving Celtic and that as well, and it never and it was meant to be announced. It was meant to be getting announced at some point, and then it was just a couple of years before that.
Oh, he was gone, Mark, I say.
Nancy was away, wasn't it? Aye.
He's gone after that Rangers group, so yeah. You know, So that's one of the, and I think it's no hard thing, right, Mark? No offence to Ken.
But see what you're saying there, Paul. See if Tisdale had been the genius that he kidded on to Dermot Desmond he was, you wouldn't have a problem with him doing that.
He wasn't.
No, I know, but Paul, but
the man is back at the club now. Do you see that?
But we're all screaming out, Paul, for a clear sweep. No,
yeah, but Mark, it's gone back. It's gone back to. It's gone back to. We're all screaming out for director of football, right? But it's gone back to the way Celtic do things. Who recommended this person to Dermot Desmond? I mean, there's no process. Do you get me? Tisdale was just appointed out of the blue, and we find out then later that he was introduced to fucking Dermot Desmond at a wedding or a conference or something like that. Was this?
Aye.
And then he started blowing out his horn to Desmond on, I like what I hear. Do you know? Like it's not just a team, Mark. And I go back to what John's saying, Mark, and things like that. It's the club. It's the structure of the club. Like we're still living in. Like when I hear this stuff, it worked for us in the past. It worked for you 20 years ago, man. Football has changed, and I think it's no harm. No, Mark, we're seeing shareholders actually stepping away from the club at the moment. What's that fella that left there? Allison, is this? The fella Allison, is it?
Aye.
And man's about fucking 80. Jesus fucking Christ. He'd probably pissing himself in the stands, I say, but he's so fucking old, I say. Some young fella sitting top of the sign going, someone's after spilling their coke on me. It's not just the old fucker there behind me pissing himself there on top of me. Dirty bastard. But that's how old our board members are, Mark, right? Jesus Christ, man, it needs change, and it's not going to happen, Mark, unless Nicholson steps down, which there is strong rumours that he will step down this summer. But then who's going to come in? No Desmond, Mark. He probably.
Well, there's still the thing about that. Was it Wigan the woman was for? Mind the CEO left. The CEO left Wigan. The woman that Dermot Desmond's wife's one of her best pals, isn't it? You were saying, Paul, she's part of that.
But that has kind of
power woman's clique, aye.
And she's supposed to be good, like.
Oh, aye.
But then, Mark, we'll go back to Joel's saying, like, are you still caught in the restraints then of Dermot Desmond? Do you know what I mean? You could be good at your job, Mark, but supposedly he has the fucking final say in everything.
But again, Paul, I'm hoping, see with the way things are like out in the public about how, like how tough it is to be the CEO of Celtic, because Dermot Desmond pulls the strings, Peter Lowell pulls the strings. Do you know what I mean? That's all kind of out there, Paul. So I'd like to think that anybody. I mean, we could go back and go over the Dom Mackay thing. It was a pure disaster. Do you know what I mean? But I'd like to think now that if we go to that position again, Paul, that the guy coming in, the CEO, would say, right, well, wait the now. Am I going to be allowed to do my job? I'm not coming in here to be anybody's puppet.
Exactly, man. Exactly.
Do you know what I mean? Because I think Dom Mackay must have had the wool pulled out of his eyes at interviews or stuff like that. Do you know what I mean? There's definitely something.
The more you can do this and you can do that, and and then when he went away and made decisions on his own, I said they were not good. Hey, you don't need to be a.
You need to phone Dermot if you want to do that, or you need to ask Dermot. Aye.
Yeah, do you know?
You said, Paul, it's not as if it's a guy applying for a job. Do you know what I mean? You interview him, you see he's all right, and that's it. Do you know what I mean? You guys answer an advert in the paper. You've interviewed him and said, right, you start a week Monday, mate. Do you know what I mean? It's you're running one of the biggest clubs in the world. You're going through so many processes and interviews and all this kind of thing before you even get the job. Then only to win it for a matter of months to leave. There was definitely something rotten in the state of Denmark about that. 100%. I'd love to Mackay, but to come out with it, but probably signed some kind of NDA legally canny, but eventually Eventually it will come.
They eventually run out, Mark. That's what they do. Do you know what I mean? They eventually run out. Do you know what I mean?
People eventually like don't care, like, oh, sue me if you want, kind of idea when they get a bit long in the
that's why I'm very surprised Rodgers has to come up. I just think Rodgers, Mark, doesn't give a shit now about Celtic, man. I don't think that's why he never came out. And I'm actually surprised he didn't come out. Do you know what I mean? And
again, Paul, it's the same thing. It's just old story. There's two sides to every story. Do you know what I mean? But for Lowell to come out and do that, I mean, you listen to JFP going ballistic about it a few times, but I honestly didn't mind it. I thought Rodgers would have been an arsehole ways again. He sat there weeks and saying, I'll promise I'll be here at the end of the season. When he came back in, everything in the garden was rosy, blah, blah, blah. Do you know what I mean? And I'll be here to see out my contract. And he didn't. He basically wrote, right, and no matter what was going on behind the scenes, right, Rodgers, he said just a few weeks before it, he would see his contract. It was his mantra. And we all kind of...
I don't know, Mark was Saudi already on the books for him, by the way.
Aye. There was obviously something on there. There was something lined up.
Thing about Rodgers, Mark, and it's been the stories of his career. He talks himself out of a job. You know, it was the same with Leicester. I know now they were struggling down the bottom, but Rodgers talked about the board and selling assets and stuff like that, like selling Schmeichel that time, and they sold Schmeichel like and Schmeichel was in his prime when they sold him to Leon that time, you know, and he was like selling players and bringing in average players, like what you expect. You know what I mean? Like fucking, you mean, look at them now, why Leicester, why could be down in the league next season, why?
See, be fair, that wasn't Rodgers' fault.
That was Denmark spending between their means, right?
No, the family that owned Leicester, the guy made to get killed in the car crash, a helicopter went to an accident. Yeah. I think his family, there was the thing, what was it? Was that? No, that was later than that. It was steel. It was somebody. It was COVID, and the price of steel had dropped to the family. They lost millions or billions or whatever, and just literally couldn't subsidise Leicester any longer. That was, they told Leicester just basically to spend the money that they made. The family couldn't pay cover any more of their costs, and that's what kind of messed up the Leicester kind of deal. That's why a lot of their like big top players and that left, and Casper left them. So the downfall of Leicester by Rodgers wasn't really on him.
No, but he still talked his way out of it, though, man.
But you never. I mean, if he was at Liverpool, if he failed to get the Liverpool job, all Brendan Rodgers ever bought about was Brendan Rodgers.
Well, definitely, man. That was always the way, Mark. Yeah.
And even, I mean, he was a Celtic supporter. He grew up. He came out for games. His family's lost. Blah 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 blah. But Brendan Rodgers still looked after Brendan Rodgers, which is quite entitled today. But when you're making millions a year for being a manager and you're one of the biggest property owners in the UK and stuff like that, should you still be chasing money? I mean, he could have sat at Celtic for 5 years and really, really changed the club. Do you know what I mean? Like, even bringing into the equation, like, he's been a manager at big, massive clubs like Liverpool. They've got a hell of a lot more money than Celtic to do what they do behind the scenes. But he could have helped Celtic bring stuff like that on our financial scale, like smaller versions of what Liverpool, what Leicester are doing behind the scenes and stuff like that. I mean, Leicester, I'll send you a video when we get off, Paul. Leicester just built a big, massive, fancy ass training complex thing.
Yeah.
Have you seen it? Aye, and it's going to be it could be ending up in the 3rd division. But that'll pay them dividends, Paul, for years to come. But producing young players to get into their team. Maybe, I mean, obviously it's going to be a burden on them if they do get relegated, but with the cost. But eventually that'll pay dividends for them. Do
you know what I mean? Hopefully, they still have Beyonce and Taylor Swift playing there next season to bring in the income.
But hopefully as well, Paul, because we've refurbished Barrafield and that as well, so hopefully that's a bit of a good thing for helping the young players with their training and players are training, the conditions and stuff like that. But That's it. We keep saying it as well. Even jobs like that shouldn't be on. Shouldn't. Or Bobby's saying, oh, they actually confirmed they're relegated.
Yeah, they're confirmed. Yeah, done. Yeah,
You know
they're
that.
done. Yeah.
That's a heavy shocker. Then.
Yeah,
Right, sorry about that.
Like winning the Premier League, is it 10 years ago? I think is it more than 10 years, Bobby? Is it 10 years around that? I said, you know, in a decade, by down to League One, by you know, it just shows, Mark, how a club can fall, man. You know, not up in Scotland, like you can just start as new and come a new club and win the fucking debt again, like you know.
We'll just gloss over Leicester's Premier League win. That's a conspiracy theory rabbit hole.
Yeah, last week, Mark, 10 years, Mark, since they were
10 years.
And that was the weekend they got fucking relegated down to League One then, man. Jesus Christ, man.
That's craziness, isn't it?
It could take them a long time, right, to get back into that Premier League, right, because it's, what is it? They were saying there today, was it last week, they were saying it's 25 years since, I think it was 25 years, they said, since Coventry were actually in the top flight of football. Coventry, 25 years, Mark.
I can mind of that too.
Yeah, but you remember they had that fella with the curly hair and the moustache. What was his name? The long fucking hair and he had a moustache.
Lamas.
Yeah,
the big American boy.
Yeah. And
Lalas. Alexei Lalas or something.
Remember the goalkeeper? Like a big, huge beast of a goalkeeper they had. Was he a Russian or something? Was he a fucking big, huge cunt? You know?
Oh, I can't mind of him. I can mind of Coventry being in the Premier League.
Yeah, so they had the sky blue the jersey. So remember the sky blue jersey that they had used to have the V-necks? Coventry were a big team back then, baby, when they went down, but that's what they were there. No offense to Lampard by coming in, getting them up, because when he came in, they were just hovering above the relegation zone, right?
Lampard, I mean, he's done a good job.
But is that his level again, though, Mark? Do you get me?
No, because he's down there learning, Paul. He's doing like Kieran McKenna. Do you know what I mean? He's down there. Lampard. Was it Chelsea that gave Lampard the job? He was, wasn't it?
Yeah, he did.
Paul, that's absolute crazy nonsense.
Yeah, the Chelsea is a rotten chalice, no, Mark. That's what it is.
Aye. Chelsea, Tottenham, I don't know why anybody's taking. Well, you do know why they're doing it, because it's the money.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Exactly, right.
And that's what it is.
You get a 5-year contract there, you're probably sacked within a year.
Aye.
And get your whole contract then paid off.
Don't even talking about McKenna, do you know what I mean? You know, that's who I'd love to get the Celtic job, right? I'm not saying it's not going to happen.
If they get promoted, Mark, I think he'd want another shot at that to keep.
But Paul, see, right, hear me on this, Shane, right? I put it on the forum as well about it. What's his choice, right? He gets promoted with Ipswich, so he's basically fighting relegation, and he's getting relegated. Ipswich are a certainty to get relegated again next year if they do get promoted. So that would be second relegation for them. So what would Ipswich do in October if Ipswich are sitting?
Mark, that they want.
Ipswich are either going to give him the season to relegate him again, and that's the second time he's done it, or they're going to have to sack him at some point and bring somebody else in.
Yeah, that's true too, right? That's true too.
And I'm not saying that he'll go to Celtic, but what I'd like to think that if he's leaving Ipswich at Celtic, are asking the question if any interest in coming here, because there's a few before on it, Paul. What's the choices he'll have? He's not going to. Right, people say, "Oh, he could get the Man United job, or the Tottenham job." He's not wanted a Tottenham job. He's already turned down even the chance to get that, because it's just a poison chalice that could kill his career. So is he just going to? He could. If Ipswich, the relegation thing, blah blah blah, relegation are sacked, and then he gets a job with another wee mid-level pub league team for a year or two, and then moves, and then just goes on that roundabout of just being one of the managers that never do much, but they're always in a job. Like Eddie Howe Do you know what I mean? One of these kind of let's say them, they're always getting jobs for some strange reason. Harry Redknapp done it for years, and then that's the rest of his life. And he comes up to Celtic, learns and understands what it is to run, how to manage a big, massive, worldwide club, win trophies, play in Europe, blah, de, blah, de, blah. 3 or 4 year time, his stock would be sky high, and he'd maybe have the better experience and world experience and managerial experience to go and manage a club like your Man United. Do you know what I mean? That's the way. That's a rainbows and fucking unicorns world view of things. You know what I mean?
I think the Manchester United job is guaranteed. No man, to Carrick, I say, well, he's done a great job there. That's the in fairness to him. You know?
Aye.
You know, that's what he did, boy. You know,
but that's my take. But I still think it's going to be Robbie Keane.
Yeah, but but Mark, you'll be hoping, Mark, that we have a list that would, like, everyone expects it's Robbie Keane, which I do. I said that to you months ago, Mark. I said that to you on when Brendan Rodgers was in trouble, Mark. That Robbie Keane could be our next manager. Remember, I said that to you.
Aye. I tell you, off. Nobody's a stupid.
Yeah. And I said it by going back a year ago by that Robbie Keane is future Celtic manager when Rodgers leaves, because I didn't expect Rodgers to go halfway through this season. I thought he'd be there to get the season. That's why I said that yeah, you know, that Robbie Keane will come in, like that'll be the way we go. And I would think, Mark, and I would hope so, that Celtic have a short list of managers that we're looking at, and it's just not Robbie Keane. But I don't believe it, Mark. I just don't think. I think it's just Robbie Keane we interview, and that's it.
No, I think. I mean, it wasn't my first choice, and Bobby's sitting in the chat. He'll be all of this now, but the Motherwell manager, you can understand why Celtic would be have looked at him.
Yeah, but he fits what Celtic board want, Mark, in the low budget. But then, Mark, if you take these money players, are they good enough then for Celtic then to go into Champions League, the players that he wants? Do you know what I mean?
But again, what I was going to say there, Paul, as well, is she was the right setup. I would totally agree with that. But we need to have the right setup, because the guys no get. Again, Paul, it's down to there's a difference between managing your Motherwells. We've seen it with Nancy. Do you know what I mean? We know how hard it is with managing Celtic, and you can even throw Rangers into that equation. They two clubs in Scotland, man. It's one of the two of the toughest jobs in world football, in my opinion. Whether they're winning, whether they're losing, because look how tough it is while Celtic, even when they're winning. Do you know what I mean? We've been racking up leagues, we've been racking up trophies, and we're still in a bit of turmoil. All the fans are at each other's throats a bit and stuff like that. Rangers only winning shit, they're all gone mental as well. So it's a weird scenario in Scotland, and it can weigh a lot of managers and even players down. Do you know what I mean? And that's the thing I would worry about with Escu, that he's probably the biggest club he's managed, Motherwell, where he lost 4 of his last 5 games, and everybody was like, oh well. Then he beat Rangers at the weekend. He's on top of the world again.
All I say about
Celtic, you can't. But at Celtic, Paul, you can't lose 4 games out of 5, and people just say, oh well. Do you know what I mean?
That's the problem. You know, that's the problem, man. If you listen to Roy Keane and Ian Wright, like, and they'll tell you like that, it's a club like where if you don't perform, if you're not winning, I mean, the fans will turn on you. You know.
And then when you're winning, Paul, you need to be winning a certain way.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's like, as we said earlier, we'd be delighted just to see the season out with 1-0 wins in every game.
But I agree with Martin O'Neill. And I hear it, like, because I'd be driving, Mark, and I'd be listening to different podcasts and stuff like that, and I listen to this as well, like, and people are screaming out for a change in formation and stuff. It's too late to be doing that. That's why I agree with Martin O'Neill and saying like that. Like, it's too
risky.
We're walking at things too risky. Like, you know,
look, Nancy tried it.
Yeah, look what happened. Yeah.
So, no, I agree. And
oh, geez, stop. I have to stop mentioning his. I won't sleep tonight, Mark. I won't. By that cunt will be in my head, but
see, when you're earlier on, you're talking about it as well. But it's like, some of his team selections are a bit iffy in that. But again, Paul, he's only pushing with the coke he's got. Maybe Martin. I mean, he's getting
what's
maybe
that?
that's what he's just saying. Look, we know that I know that this is the best that we can do. This kind of, do you know what I mean?
What's after happening with Shanshara, Mark? He's been left out of the last 2-3 squads.
I don't know.
You know, like he seems to be. Is Martin O'Neill going back to the players? Like,
maybe he's just getting back to players, Paul, that he's trusting in.
But that's what I think, Mark.
Even the effort, Paul.
That's what I think, Mark, and that's why I'm looking at Martin O'Neill now. Like, and these loan players we brought in, like, aren't getting. And I think Martin O'Neill's looking. I'm going. These players aren't going to fight for this jersey.
Aye.
You know, what a waste. Like, I say, how big's the squad? About 30, 35, or if you put the whole squad together?
Oh, you've got what, a 25-man squad? No, well, that's in Europe, isn't it? Aye. We've got a massive squad for the SPL, Paul.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, and Martin O'Neill was talking about that going the squad is way too big. Like it's like we need to for club, Mark. We need to stop stockpiling the club with these projects. And we're on about our youth there. You know, we're on about our youth. Instead of going away and buying the project, to give that position. Well, me and you, Mark, are saying for years in this podcast, man. Give that position in the squad to a youth player. And let him see. Like, look at Kobe Dunn. I thought Kobe Dunn had a great, and I'm surprised he wasn't in Young Player of the Year listings this year. I thought Kobe Dunn had a great season for us. We were actually lucky we had Kobe Donovan coming through, Mark. That's very come through. You know, as I thought the young lad.
Well, we were talking about how getting me hot sauce back, Sriracha back, but what about Orejo? Would you do it? Would you bring him back?
Definitely, Mark. But I think no, Mark. I think the World Cup has come at a wrong time for Celtic in the transfer window because of the. And I don't want to be looking too far ahead now because we've 4 big games coming up. Like, but I've never seen such a big. I think this rebuild, Mark, is bigger than when Ange first came in.
Oh, definitely.
Because they're so. You look at Barisha, 5.5 million. And we were supposed to be looking at him for months.
Years, Paul. We might have scouted him for about 2 years.
I say Rogers told Denmark, no, he's not good enough. And the minute Rogers left, we went back in for him. Do you know what I mean? Like, Rogers is no fool either, Mark. And I know there's a lot of disagreement, but you have to say about Rogers, Mark, he does know a quality player. Do you know what I mean? And I believe, Mark, he told them, he's not good enough. You know what I mean? Your man is. And what's that fella we bought in from the lucky bag? Who we were supposed to sign for 4 million, and we were lucky he failed the fucking.
Oh, him that failed the heart. I can do. Adam Moore, him that failed the heart.
Mavuka, what's his name? Mavuka, something like this. A fucking Reggie Blink. It's like he's like a Timu fucking that you bought. It's like you bought Reggie Blinker from fucking Timu. Jesus fucking Christ! And I thought Reggie Blinker was bad. But Jesus Christ, Mark, this fella makes Reggie Blinker by me.
Terrible, wasn't he?
He made that cameo. It was like
and Vuka.
The thing just came out. Bobby, you should know me by now. I know how to spell it. I know the player because I can see him. But pronouncing it is a different level altogether, man. Do you know what I mean? Jesus Christ, man.
Get rid of Ralston, AJ. See, that's what I was talking about when I was talking about AJ and Donovan. See, I'd say Ralston. We say this all the time that Ralston's good enough to be playing for another team every week, right? See if AJ gets a good World Cup and we get a crazy bid for him, let him go. But see if we could keep AJ and get Arajo back. put Donovan out on loan, because even the new 19 or whatever, 18, 19, whatever, he's good enough to be playing for another team every week. Give him out to like a Dundee or a Hibs or a Motherwell or somebody like that.
For me, I think it's key that Ralston actually stays around the squad.
Do you think
you know you know what you're going to get from Ralston, right? He's going to give you 100%, Mark. No matter, you might not be the greatest spark, you might think, but you get 100% out of him, Mark, and he'll give you that. These players now, Mark, are rare. Do you know what I mean? Like, who do we have now at the club, Mark? Who breeds the club? It's Tierney, Forrest, McGregor, and Ralston. That's it.
Well, we've just gave Forrest and me Chocolate Man McCowan a new contract. And I think again, in scales, and I think that's one of the reasons for that as well. Either none of them setting the grass on fire, but they know what the club's about.
Exactly, and you need those players, Mark. You do.
Aye, because I've said it. See, like Paul, this is one of the things as well. Why I've always been confident is winning the league for Martin O'Neill came back, because Martin O'Neill's been there, but done it, bought the T-shirt, and we've got players in the squad like McGregor, like Scales, like Ralston, like Forrest, and even Maeda. They've been there and done it and won. Do you know what I mean? They know how to grind out these games and win games when it matters.
I think Rio has kicked his last ball as well, Mark. I say at this stage, he seems to be kind of frozen out as well, hasn't he? McConnell seems kind of ahead of him.
Martin O'Neill said that he'd be getting game time. O'Neill said the other day, I'm sure that Martin O'Neill said that he'd be getting game time in the final stages of the season. So again, I don't know what. Again, Paul, it's just weird. He never even elaborated if he's been injured or anything like that.
Keep the Oxmark for another season. I would.
You think so?
Yeah, just to have him, Mark.
He's miles off the pace of that bit.
Yeah, not to start him, Mark, but to bring him on, Mark, because you look at him like he is the intelligence, Mark, to slow down the game, and we don't have that player at the moment that does that. I mean, we don't, like, we don't have a player that can actually slow down a game, or and I know it's the hard ones too, but
the game management side of things.
Yeah, and I'd hold on to Nacho, Mark, and I would for another season. Man, not as your main striker, not a chance for a main striker, but to have him there, Mark, as an option if you need it. So, because you're going to know Celtic are going to bring in a young striker, right? You just know that 20, 25-year-old, you would want someone there, Mark, to guide him.
I'd be quite happy with Big Ian Nacho being like a third choice striker next season. Yeah. She's like sitting there as number. Because that, and Paul, how long have I said that for as well? Mind like the Huns brought in. Oh, what was his name? The Defoe and guys like that. That's what Celtic should have, like a main top striker. A main top striker. A good younger one.
Needing a goal or something like that.
Aye. And look, not just an older guy that's coming to the end of his career. I hated the guy, and I didn't want to be, wouldn't want to be him. But see, like we were talking about when Jamie Vardy was in we spoke about that. Somebody like that that's just sitting in your bench, and you can throw him on, and the chances are that he'll steal a goal for you.
Man, we could have fucking done with Jamie Vardy this season, I said.
Oh no.
Get goals, I say, for us, Jesus Christ, I never saw Celtic strike force, Mark, so bad in my lifetime.
No.
I never did. And that's going back now, Mark, to the 80s when we had bad strikers back then as well. Like, you know what I mean? But this is...
there was always one.
Someone there to get goals, do you know what I mean?
There was always somebody. Do you know what I mean?
This really has to be the worst of the lot. I said this is a worst Celtic squad, I say, Mark. And you know what, Mark? It's saying a lot. It's saying a lot about Hearts. If we're actually still in this title race, and the title race is in our hands.
Aye.
Considering how bad we were and the amount of games we...
But Paul, that's the thing about it. See, the league, the full league king in that was, for me, it all came down to... It wasn't that Hearts or the Huns were doing so great. It was we were just so
We were doing
shite.
so bad. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. We were so shit.
Do you know what I mean? And that's what it came down to. Any other season, no. I mean, look at all the stats are out there. You've read wee buzz on the. Do you know what I mean? They're out there about the how less goals were scored, how less this, blah blah blah. But so Hearts have done well. Do you know what I mean? And the Huns have done well as well to come back and be still clawing away. But they're only doing that because we've been so shite.
What would you like? Would you like a draw on Monday between the two of them, or would you like Hearts to win and put Hearts out of it? Put kind of Rangers out of it then? Really? I'd prefer draw, I think, Mark. Would you?
I'd probably just think a draw.
Yeah.
A draw there. A draw there, and just Celtic. Just we need to win our games.
Well, we have to win, no matter what. Anyway, if we win Saturday, the pressure's on two of them. Monday night, you know. It's Monday night there, please. At the bank.
Aye. It's Monday night. My birthday too.
Jesus Christ, you going to Tynecastle, so yeah?
Oh, no chance, man. That's Paul. That's worse than going to Ibrox, mate.
I heard, man. I heard.
Tynecastle's an absolute shithole, man.
Jesus Christ, man. All the fuckers in the freezing cold taking off their t-shirts. Jesus Christ, man. Put back on your t-shirt, man.
It's boiling
That's
out here,
boiling.
Paul. You're in the middle of a heat wave.
25 degrees, 26 degrees over here today, boy.
We're in the middle of a Scottish heat wave then. You don't need to start bragging about it.
That's our summer now, man. We won't get no more now for the rest of the year, probably.
It'll snow them more.
Yeah, they'll be all going in their fucking holidays now in the summer in their mobile homes, and it'd be pissing rain, and they'd be all in their fucking mobile homes out by the beach. It'd be like Father Ted, playing the crazy golf in the pissing rain. Go bad. Jesus Christ. Well, what would you go? Your lineup, Mark. Sunday.
Paul, I'd just stick with what we're waiting now, really. Because, as I say, right, I was like, oh, we should be starting here and Nacho and that, and then Maeda done what he done. And as he says, he's looking happy, he's looking hungry, he's pressing over the last couple of games, he's been back to what we saw when he was like one of our top players, do you know what I mean? But if he's back to being at that level, think of the damage that he could do for in the wings, setting up chances and stuff. That's my kind of conundrum, because he's not an out-and-out striker. I've said that all along about Maeda. I've always said that. He will score goals, but he's never, ever an out-and-out striker. Do you know what I mean? So if he's wanting to score goals, a lot of the goals that he's scored is playing for the wing, obviously. So can you put him back out to the wing and expect at least one goal for him? But how many chances could he create in that for a proper striker? It's a weird one. That's the only thing I would probably change.
Yeah, Jan's missus must be back in Scotland again, I say, she. Left off his game the last couple of weeks, Jan did.
Like Jan, days. I mean, we've spoke about it before, even like a lot of we think like the players coming there for that neck of the woods without being racist. A lot of them weird guys, isn't it? Aye, they qualified, aye.
So Jan be going so as well, won't he, to the World Cup, Jan?
Aye, I'm sure he is. But
Klinsmann's not in charge of them still, is he? Klinsmann? He's not in charge of them still, is he? Jürgen Klinsmann. Did you hear about his poor son? Jürgen Klinsmann's son. Over in Italy, is a Serie B or Serie C he plays in, Mark. Jürgen Klinsmann's son, he's a goalkeeper, and he was involved in a tackle, and he snapped his spinal cord playing football. Jürgen Klinsmann's son.
He snapped his what?
Spinal cord. He's supposed to be an orphan way. Jürgen Klinsmann's son, he's a goalkeeper. He's 29 years of age. He's supposed to be an orphan way, boy. Jürgen Klinsmann's son, he's supposed to be lucky to walk or anything like that, boy. It was a bad tackle, I think, like that. He was going in for the ball, and the opposite player came up with the studs up into his back. It's supposed to be an awful fucking thing, boy.
Oof. Doesn't sound too good at all, doesn't it?
No,
I didn't even know his boy was a player of that. I didn't even.
I never knew it. Goalkeeper till I was. I don't know where I was reading. It just pops up in the sports things, Mark. I'd be looking at, and I just recognised the name Klinsmann, and I thought it was something to do with Jürgen. Like, and then said Jürgen Klinsmann's son suffers a horrific injury during a football match. You know.
Did you see the video of that? Was it in the Spanish second division? The goalkeeper just freaked out and started punching the boy on the park.
That's something I do, Mark. That's
what I thought as well. But pure Leicester, crazy style.
I knocked the ref and everything. My ass like didn't I chased them off the pitch. The match was cancelled. I had the most bookings in the league, Mark, and I was in goal and sending off. So I just know, I was like the fellow, what's his name? Steve, what's the actor's name that was in Mean Machine? The goalkeeper, the monk. Remember him?
Well, I don't think but Burt Reynolds.
No, the football game. Remember Mean Machine with Vinnie Jones and all them were playing the soccer in the prison.
Oh, that's a daft remake of the Burt Reynolds film. That was shit.
Yeah. You know, but I remember the keeper, the monk, Jason Speakman, remember?
Right.
That was like me, but I don't know, I used to get threats or something like that by I just used to snap. I'm at the camera, don't know, like, you know. And
I wasn't a good loser myself on the pitch.
No, I used to be fighting with my own team and everything, but that's what I did by, so I just eventually, I think that was the best thing that ever happened to me, that I left soccer, like, you know, the tempers after kind of calm down a bit. You know?
Calmed you down a bit, aye, all right then. So, are you confident? We've been through it for months, all the moaning on the forum, all the moaning on WhatsApp and all that. Are you any more confident to win the league?
I am confident, Mark, but...
And will you bow, when we do win the double, will you bow down and say that I'm always right?
Yeah, but like I believe we will win the league, Mark. But I have my doubts with these players, the way they've played all season. Do you know what I mean? Like we could go now against Hibs, Mark, and just start at freaking a slow tempo again. Celtic does need to be up for the game from the start, like we did in the last two games. Try to get the game won, Mark. You know, like we used to do before. Like get the game won. Get things done. You know, we need to put down a marker. You know, put the pressure on them, like, because it's not often, Mark, we see Celtic starting before the other two all season, and it seems to be the last couple of weeks we have been. You know what I mean? So I'm expecting us to be. It'd be tough, but they're missing two players now. Their keeper suspended, isn't he?
Aye, the keeper misses your game. Aye.
And then the other fella that got sent off, that got the two bookings, so he'd be like, you know, I think we should be. Hibs now, Mark, have nothing to play for, but I think they can't actually catch Motherwell now in fourth. I don't think. And
no, I think that's Motherwell. I think that's same Celtic for the 4-5.
Yeah, so like Hibs really don't have nothing to play for, like, you know.
No, it's just Celtic, just with Martin O'Neill, the players we've got, they dig it out all the time, Paul. They've dug every game. I mean, we've dropped points, blah blah, right? We lost the cup under Nancy, right? We've dropped points under Martin O'Neill, but we're still at this point in the season that if we win every game, we'll win the league and we'll win the cup. Do you know what I mean? Whereas a few months ago, that wasn't really feasible. Do you know what I mean? And it just seems to be, Paul, that we just seem to dig it out all the time. When it comes to the crunch, do you know what I mean? Even beating the Huns with penalties, do you know what going to Ibrox, stuff like that. When it comes to the crunch, it just seems the players just seem to be able to dig it out.
My only worry about that game next week, Mark.
But against them?
Yeah, is O'Neill needs to pick the right midfield. because in, I don't know, the last year or so, definitely anyway, like they're controlling that midfield again. I don't know what it is, Mark. Your man always has a good game against Celtic. There's always a player who has a good game against Celtic. And that cunt Raskin always has a good game against us.
Who?
Raxin.
Aye, I was going to say aye. That, and
He's
see
all-
when I watch, right, see when I watch him against Celtic, Paul, I can understand why the Huns kind of rave about him. But see when I watch him against anybody else and that, he's odd good game, but against then, but he doesn't really shine out.
Against us, like ups his game against us, Mark. And it's like every day. But see then, Mark, you want up you want our players to be like that, Mark. Going, and that's why I'm actually happy now. Engels is back. Mark, is back because he does go in for a tackle, Mark. He's not afraid to tackle, and he can pass the ball as well. You can see his passes there, Mark, there at the weekend again. Like he's picking out these balls that we haven't been doing the last couple of months or two when he was out. You know, and people were raving, oh, he's not good enough. We paid too much for him. Look,
I think he's been stifled, Paul. I think he's been stifled. It's like we're under Rodgers. Engels. I think I mean, I can see Engels being the same type of player as like Petrov, that kind of player. You're all round number 8 that can do a bit of everything. That's how I see. I can see it. I kind of see Engels playing. That's how. See when I talk about going 4-2-3-1, playing McGregor. Dean, like
him.
Play McGregor and Engels and McGregor, Dean, the kind of what we got to know as the Scott Brown job. Do you know what I mean? Back in the day, it was only 10 years ago or whatever. But McGregor doing that kind of Scott Brown role
on his own, it's not happening. Yeah,
Engels.
I don't mind McGregor being there, Mark, but not on his own. Do you know what I mean? Not on his own.
No, because he's not the best at tackling.
Yeah, and you could see that there a few times actually at the weekend, Mark, when he was 1-on-1s with players and he was getting overrun by them. You know.
But see, I mean, we know that McGregor's tackling shocking. That's how he picks up so many bookings in Europe. Do you know what? And in Scotland, because
I thought the refereeing standard again, Mark, was shocking again at the weekend. Blown for it.
But see, with somebody beside him, all McGregor needs to do then is read the game, because he gets somebody beside him. So all he needs to concentrate on is like doing the defensive side of things. He doesn't need to bother about who's about him, because Engels is back helping him to do that defending. Exactly. So all McGregor needs to do is use his intuition, his football positioning that we know he's got. He's one of the most intelligent players on a pitch that's been at Celtic for a long, long time. Cal McGregor, he's just
2024 is the last time we beat them in the league.
Aye.
And that's what I'm saying. Like the last couple of the last year or so, Mark, they've been controlling that midfield again, like, you know.
And that's what it's always come down to for the last, even games that we've sneaked in one way them over the last few seasons.
Even that striker,
it's always down to
that. He always gets a fucking goal against us, and he's shit. What's his name? The fella they signed from Everton.
Oh, him, Chemke or something like that, isn't it? Aye.
Yeah, and he doesn't score either. Like, you know, he gets fucking goals against us. Like, you know, Jesus Christ! By now, the whole team now, man. The next 4 games now, man. The whole team, fucking need to up their game, Mark, and
step up.
Yeah.
But see, Paul, we're getting into their head. You can see it on social media. We're getting into their fans' heads.
Oh, we're getting into like McGuinness.
But their players will be getting that. That was a massive, massive loss for them. Not even just towards the league points, but see, psychologically, that defeat to Motherwell, that was massive for them. Because I've even seen it on their forums and on social media and that. It's like, how come any time we get away for these breaks, we come back and we're shite? Because that's hard. You see, if you look back to all these Rangers hot weather breaks and all that, they come back and they're shite. And that's the thing. And it's like, they get away for the, and it's like, well, you and Veronica get away to Poland for 2 weeks, Paul. You're sitting over there having a drink, chilled, relaxed, and a laugh and a joke, no boring your backside, which can on do you know what I mean, at work or whatever, and you're coming home, and then on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, you're at work, this is shite. So they're aware they're on holiday, relaxing.
Definitely.
And then they're expecting them to come back and psychologically just like flick a switch and be back into that kind of
no, you're better off. That's why
stuff.
That's why I prefer Mark to be playing in the semi-final of the cup and keep your momentum going.
Aye, and be in training hard, working hard, and yous are in here working hard. Aye, we could have went holiday, but he's fucked up in the cups. You're knocking your melt in. You're running your spoon, your ring at the side of the.
And we're getting in McGuinness's head as well, Mark. That's what we are, boy. We're getting in McGuinness's head as well, boy. That's because fucking every interview now, where he's an obsession about fucking Celtic. That's what he does, you know.
McInnes, aye,
yeah,
aye.
You know, I think they will, Mark. I think Hearts will drop points though. So within their 4 games, they'll drop points. You know, any of the top 3 teams, Mark, the way they're playing this season can drop points. Like, but it's just Rangers that fell first. Like, and kind of put the advantage on the other two. Like, you know.
That's how I thought we were always going to be in the race, because none of the 3 years, including Celtic, were putting in any great run of form.
No,
do you know what I mean? It was like Rangers were beating beating this one and that one, and then the next time, but they get beat with Livingston. Was it Hearts that get beat with Livingston? But none of the 3s are putting in any great run of form. That's why any other season Celtic would have been running away with this, because their form's always been boom, 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 boom. Do you know what I mean? There wasn't many dropped points or losses with Celtic.
I agreed. I agree with you, Bobby. A draw would be ideal there, no, that's what it would.
Right, that's it, Bells. You want to wind that up then, pubs?
Oh, we go for another while there, Maury. While it's just nothing happening, sure. You know.
But that's the thing. That's why, again, I thought, because I always thought to myself that Celtic would we were more than capable. Celtic for me were the most capable out the 3 teams to put together a run of form, because, again, back to Martin O'Neill being in charge. Because we saw what Rangers were like.
I'm worried about Denmark. Do you know what I'm worried about? All right. If we do win this league, right? Well, not if we do. When we win this league, I will phrase it. Sorry. All right. Will the board then think, well, we were right?
No.
What would you know what I mean? Like, just, you know what they?
No, that's mad. That's mental. No,
do they this sense of this rebuild? Do you mean, like, because the way Martin O'Neill has been talking lately, Mark, you think that he's going to be involved in something next season? That he was saying that he wanted Forrest, McCone, and Scales to get new contracts. So, is Martin O'Neill actually having a say in what's going on at the moment? And is he going to have some role within the club next season? You know.
Oh,
you were saying that for thing, Mark, that O'Neill should be on that board as a football brain within that board. You know.
I mean, there's still the rumours flying about that O'Neill's going to get the chairman's job. I can't see that. But I can see him still being involved. 100%. And I wouldn't mind that, Paul, for a simple reason. Martin O'Neill's at the stage that see what we were talking about, what we think the kind of the Don Mackay situation was. See, like if Dermot's saying to Martin O'Neill, all right, Martin, we'll do this, and we want to do this, we want to do blah, blah, blah. And Martin's like, I'll be on board in that. But at his age, Martin O'Neill's not going to put up with that. Do you know what I mean? He's played the politics and trying to keep everything under wraps for.
And I think that's why he won't say no, Mark, at the moment.
Because
how fragile things are at the moment in the club.
Aye, because not even that. Martin O'Neill's concentrating on winning this league and winning the cup. So all this rest of this can kind of he'll be doing things behind the scenes, probably advising, whatever. And
even there to be before the semi-final there at the weekend, there you Premier Sports, they're asking about the Rangers situation between their fans, and he just typically turned around to him, I don't know nothing about it, you know what I mean? It's the first I heard of it this morning. Look, just concentrating on the match, and you know, this is my job, just to concentrate on the match and just let the board look after stuff. I mean, you know, and that's what Martin Neal's doing, Mark. You know what I mean? He knows this job, and I think, Mark, and I think as well, Mark, he knows that this. How would I say this? Like, how big of a task this is with this Celtic team at the moment, what he's doing. You know, that's
Aye. But
how big the task is, Mark, with the players, because.
And how, Paul, that's the sole purpose, that's the aim. Forget all the stuff in papers, forget what fans are going to be in the ground for. It's nothing to do with that. All we're concentrating on is winning these games of football. That's what, do you know what I mean? That's how Martin Neal, and he's a wise man, we know that, do you know what I mean? So he's not going to get caught out being mugged off for the press.
Sure.
I know he's toned down a bit of the old
lawyer, no, as well. He studied
Did they get? We said that before. I wasn't actually sure if he was a qualified player, but he used to be right anyway.
All the crime thing and
aye, murders and going to Old Bailey trials and stuff like that.
Yeah, studied all the law things and everything, man. You know, and stuff like that. Like, you know, like
he's playing the game and dropping these things into press conferences that are eating away at other teams and other managers, but he's wise enough not to play the actual game that the press want. And even Brendan Rodgers, he's due for that. He was the same. We spoke about that. He was, after spending years doing the public, you know how to handle the press. Do you know what I mean? Martin Neal was the same. Plus, he's a lot more intelligent than Brendan Rodgers, academically wise.
What's your thoughts on Sinisalo?
What's my thoughts on him?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, he's still only a boy, and age-wise, with goalkeeper. Do you know what I mean? But his distribution came a bit edgy at times. But I've not really. No, I wouldn't say. I'm quite happy with him in goal for his Paul.
Because I saw you probably saw the rumours as well, Mark. Like it's probably lazy journalism again, like leaking us to Matt Ryan, remember the fella from Brighton there? We were the Aussie. We were linked to it before with
aye.
Like I prefer to have a young keeper like Sinisalo, no, Mark, at this stage who can actually come off his line and clear the fucking ball or catch the ball. I prefer a young keeper. I'm actually, I know he has some dodgy things there as well, but with his distribution, like he took risks in that semi-final, man. That's like fucking dead, man. Jesus.
Aye. But no, I totally get what you mean. I mean, it's again
like that shot there at the weekend. It went down to his left by the post, and he saved. It was a good save. Like. That was Michael, Mark. That was in. That was in. It was a goal. That's the first thought that came to my head. That was Schmeichel. That was in. And I only noticed it there the other day when I was looking at pictures of Schmeichel. He actually wore the Celtic training jacket under his jerseys. It was a jacket. He had.
People said that he was wearing padding and everything, Paul.
It was a padded, you know these like padded winter jackets, Mark, that you have.
Aye.
The ones there we spoke before. It was one of them that he had that he used to wear under the Celtic shirt. You're going to be roasting, like if you're playing football, you're going to be roasting something like that. You know, that's what he used to have on, like a padded jacket on these.
That was probably down to protection, because you wouldn't be roasting standing in Celtic Park with that under your top, honestly, trust me.
Yeah.
No, you wouldn't be roasting. No matter what the weather was like, Paul, you wouldn't be roasting probably. That the wind that catches blows about Celtic Park in the Scottish weather. But people did just to say, look how fat he is, he wears padding to protect him. Before it came out as he was injured, so probably it was maybe putting a jacket like that on, and it was more like something to do with padding, Paul.
You could see it, Mark. You could actually see the zip just above the Celtic jersey. You could actually see the zip on the close-up pictures of him. You could actually see the zip of it was like a jacket that was on him.
I mean, he definitely. I mean, he was always big. Like his dad was always a big guy, but he was a fat bastard.
But even at that, even without the injury, Mark, right? Even without the injury, how are you supposed to move properly with all that padding on you? Because I found this because here, like I used to wear the padded pants. It's like because the pitches used to be full of stones when I used to be playing soccer, like so you had to kind of wear the pad. If it was pissing rain, Denmark, those padded fucking pants is made of fucking done, but that's what they did. You be base over that, those things, but
they think these shorts for the padded sides.
No, but I had the pants, do you get me? The padded pants as well, because the pitches were they were like leggings, you know what I mean? But they had the pads going down the sides, do you get me? And they had because my knees were bad, Mark, as you know, like, so I had to protect my knee. But if it was lashing rain there, Jesus Christ, fuck, man, I could barely kick the ball. That's like going by, it's like...
Maybe that sounds again when own Casper couldn't move, end up like big marshmallow man out of Ghostbusters.
That's what I'm saying, with all these padding on the Mark, no wonder he probably couldn't come out for a cross or something like that. Because you always said it, Mark, if the keeper comes out, 8 or 9 times out of 10, he's going to get a free kick.
Aye.
And man just didn't leave the line. Just never moved off the line, And that's why I think Denmark is why Kasper's kicking got bad as well near the end. Because if you're less injured, your balance is gone, like, because you're going to be leaning to your left side, kicking the ball. Do you get me? To kind of balance yourself out.
Aye.
So no, but big questions need to be asked about that, man. Big, like, even for the club that time, because I haven't been on, for him to announce that on television and Celtic football not knowing about that, he was announcing that he has to go for 2 operations, that he's going to be off the season. Do you know what I mean?
It's definitely a weird thing, Paul, why he was still getting selected, but it was obvious to anybody with eyes that he was either just out of the hole that much or injured. Do you know what I mean? We'll find out that he's been injured. Well, again, if you're playing at left back or right back and you've got a shoulder injury, you can strap it up. Is that sore or that? No, it's all right. I'll be able to get by. But if you take a whacking that, you might need to go off. That's a risk you take. But no a goalkeeper with a shoulder injury.
Yeah, the 2 boys must have been kicking themselves, Mark, doing and Sinisala going, why can't they get a game? Like, it's clearly he's injured, like, do you know?
Well, look, if he was that poor even during games, Paul, how poor was he in training?
But that's
because you're not going to die for a ball and risk it. Do you know what I mean? Risk an injury.
Yeah, but what training were they doing, Mark? Do you get me? What training were they doing if they didn't spot this? Like, do you know what I mean? What training were they doing? Like,
as I said, there's injuries, Paul, that you can manage depending on what position you play in that. But for a goalkeeper to continually get selected, it's plain to everybody, the fans and even the press were talking about it. It's plain that there's something no right. Why was he getting selected every week, game after game?
I used to be playing there with the knee braces on my leg bar, and I used to come back after games there, and my knees were like a balloon, after bar, and that's why I gave up football, because I knew my legs couldn't take it anymore. Like, I'd love to go back playing 5-a-side on Friday, but the chances are no, my fucking knee replacement would be on the floor by the time I got the game.
I know, but you could go, Paul, and play for weeks and weeks and weeks, and then it just takes one stupid twist, one thing, and that's you fucked up. Do you know what I mean?
I didn't tell you this. We were up with Celtic Monica, we were asleep there. Not last Sunday, the Sunday 2 weeks ago. At 2 o'clock in the morning, Monica's notifications are going off in the Ring doorbell. All right, that there's someone at the door. All right?
Right.
We see flashlights coming into the Ring doorbell. All right? And flashlights looking in the house. Next we all banging at the front door. Monica was like, Monica, look, Paul, this up, because at the time, there's robberies of cars in the estate, and I thought there was someone fucking looking in the car, So I ran down, And fucking there was the guards at the house. And I was like, Jesus Christ. I said, guard, is everything all right? He goes, we got a phone call there to come to the house. Because we were just checking the registration of the car. And there's no name, driver on the registration of the car. And I said, yeah. I said, it's a company car. I said, it's down as BR Marketing. I said, it's a company car. I said, do you mind me asking what's this about? So I said, to be honest, can I mind you asking, what are you calling to the house for? And I said, I give you my name. And he goes, we got a thing of disturbance, shouting and loud music. I said, no. I said, that's the wrong house. I said, it's just me and my wife here. I said, my name is Paul Kyle. I said, my thing. Oh, we've the wrong house. The control system gave us the wrong number. I goes, you not tell your control system actually to listen to the fucking phone call properly before she gives you a name. I said, could be something fucking dead now by the time you get there. And I closed the door on him. You know, I swear to God, banging down the fucking door, 2 o'clock in the morning. Jesus Christ, man, got an awful flight, boy.
Nearly get caught washing diesel. You thought you'd been busted washing diesel.
I tell you, man, I fucking hell, boy. I swear to God, like they were banging, and I was like, Jesus Christ, man. And you know, when you're awake then and stuff like that, I actually couldn't sleep for the night, man. Couldn't sleep for the night. I ended up
because it's Paul, it's like anything like that. It's like, see if you're lying in bed, see anything after 10 o'clock, you're lying in bed, the phone goes, you're thinking the worst. Oh, something's rang somewhere. Do you know what I mean? It's like, see if you're like, the door goes, Jack turns around to me and says, who's that? I'm like, I don't fucking know, I can't see who it was. But it's a pure, do you know what I mean? You're, oh, what's going on? Just, as you said, at that time in the morning, you'd be like, oh,
the fucker didn't even apologise. He didn't even apologise. Sorry, wrong. I mean, he could have said sorry, wrong house. Sorry for the storm. He didn't even say that. He like cheeky little cunt to me. He was. Hell, man.
You must have that. You must have that look.
I wasn't out. No protest for the fuel things. Like, you know what I mean? So nobody's got.
What were you wearing when you opened the door?
Jammers, thank Christ. I had a Nazi suit put away. That's like that was up the
Just answer the door in the butt. Answer the door in the buff.
Imagine it. Oh, nice.
Aye. Oh, just don't answer the door in the buff. Now, where the fuck is it? Bang my door. It's 2 in the morning.
Jesus Christ, I imagine it. But imagine if you answer the door when you're not on you. Sorry, we're nudists.
We're trying to have a swingers party in here, mate. Why keep the noise down? Stop banging.
They're going to question me. There was some fella selling Slim Fast in the estate there. We were looking at the house. Jesus Christ, man. Fucking hell. John, then when he was over, said that to Vonica, but Vonica didn't know about that. I thought Vonica fucking killed me afterwards that I actually said that to the neighbour next door about the Slim Fast. She killed me over it. She didn't know about it at all. There's John saying it then till I said it on the podcast. She says to me next day, what was you on about the Slim Fast? What was that? So I goes, no, because he said so, you gave it to a neighbour. And I was like, Paul, she said, you can't be doing that. Like, she's huge.
She's huge.
I got killed then because of it then, like, Jesus Christ, man. You know, fucking hell. Back to Celtic anyway, man. That's enough of the guys coming to my house now.
In case they're listening in.
Who do you, like, how many players could end up leaving, Mark, the end of the season? 10 more?
Oh, there'll be more than 10, Paul.
I say Rio and Dyson, like we know all the loan players are going back because they're not going to keep none of them, I don't think, Mark, are you?
The loans. Well, I'd like to think, Paul, that we're trying to like keep a hold of in a row, aye.
Maybe about the only 2, Mark, I say, you probably would keep, I say, would you?
Who?
They'd be about the only 2 that you would keep, I say, would you?
Aye, definitely. I don't think any of them should.
Would you let McGuire go? If a bid came,
aye.
Would you
I wouldn't. I'd be like, thanks very much, but fair dues on you go, because I think it's probably at the stage that, like, if you leave Celtic, it's because he wants to leave. Maybe he's realised it's all that talk the other day of Celtic don't match my ambitions and stuff like that. I mean, that's a lot of nonsense for me. I'd like to think McGregor.
That was a strange interview there by him, wasn't it?
I'd like to think McGregor's even thinking to himself, like I'm struggling here. I'm struggling to do this week in, week out. Do I decide to stay about and become, like, no offence to the guy, but the next Jamesy Forrest coming on for the last half an hour, being the sub rather than being the main man. I mean, he can still be the club captain. They don't need to strip him of the captaincy, because you can have a club captain. We've done it before. You've got a club captain, then you've got a captain on the field. But if that's the kind of thing, it's mattering to him. But it'd be no great loss to the team. I mean, let's not beat about the his best days are definitely behind him. So if he wanted to go, I'd wish him well.
You can see it big time by that he's struggling now. Like, who would your next captain be then, would you think? Tierney?
Stephen Welsh.
What, by bringing back by after that celebration at Ibrox, bringing back?
I've said it for years. The FCC, future Celtic captain Stephen Welsh, used to love winding Mike up about that. Let's be no big kid. It's going to be KT, isn't it?
KT, well, yeah. KT. Scales stepped in there, but he did well.
Well, maybe, I mean, Scales has been there a long time and he's knocked his socks off, but again,
a lot of managers like their centre backs, like what Bobby's saying there, Robbie Keane, really. A lot of managers like their centre back to be captain, Mark, because they can see everything then that's in front of them. You know, a lot of managers like that, boy. You know,
but, I mean, again, I don't think it's really that big a deal. I want every player on that part to be.
I think Scales. I think Scales is player of the season for us, Mark. To be honest, this year, I really do. I don't think there's no one else there.
You think so?
Yeah. I think Scales. I voted for Scales. I thought Scales is player of the season for us. You know, you don't even kind of consistent. I know there's a mistaken thing, and you can complain about, like, he's passing there sometimes and stuff like that. But you see, Ralston's passed it to Tedeschi the other day. And that stupid, shitty player couldn't even control it. There was no one on him. And if he would control that, we were in. Oh, well,
I don't care what anybody says, Paul. Ralston's the best crosser of the ball we've got.
Do you know what I mean? Jesus Christ, when was the last time we actually saw a Celtic player do that, Mark? A crossfield pass? You know?
But I mean, again, Ralston, he's a lot of deficiencies in that, but still for me, he's the best crosser of the ball we've got.
I think Steve Clark destroyed him. Yeah, because Clark is so defensive with Scotland. Because when Ralston was in the Scotland squad, when he first broke in with Ange, he was bombing up and down that ring, crossing the ball and getting beyond the thing. And I think the Scotland call-up Mark destroyed him, because he's after getting very defensive now, and he doesn't even run up beyond the wingers now. Before, Mark, you see it. Remember the Ange used to be up and down the wing.
Ralston was a kind of player that he'd have been like ideal, in the wing back role.
You know, and you could see it there the other day when Johnson came on, Mark. There he was up beyond Tedeschi then, like, but of course Tedeschi then didn't pass him the ball, like, you know. Gee, I'm sorry, but he's a bad player, but really is, but he's a bad player. How much did we pay for him? 4 million.
Tedeschi, it was about 4.5 or something like that, Paul.
4.5, Mark, million we paid. Jesus Christ, Mark.
You said earlier on, band 5 million on Barlick Wish.
9 million, Mark. 9 million on 2 wingers, right? And you could have got, and that's the thing that I agreed about. The one thing I agreed with Rodgers when he said that there's no point in buying 2 players for 4 or 5 million when you can get that player that's a step above them for that 9 million.
Aye.
You know, like Celtic board have it in their mind. Oh God, no, 9 million. We can't spend 9 million. But you are spending 9 million on 2 players that we don't need. Do you know? Do you get me? You know,
aye, 100%. Paul, we've spoken about that for years.
Yeah, that's the thinking that we need. We need in the club, like, and I think that's what Martin will bring in, Mark, if he stays around. You know.
I mean, it's like, see, really, I mean, the way the transfer market is in that, Paul, Celtic should probably, I mean,
I heard how scouting the data system we use, Mark, is very, very basic.
but that's what Tisdale brought in. That's what Tisdale, Celtic, Dermot Desmond, this new data-driven
Very basic,
system that he'd invented and came up with.
Like you could go on to transfer market there, Mark.
Aye.
Value players of fight, and I'd say that's what fucking Celtic are doing. You know.
I mean, people used to laugh when I said this about it, Paul. She's a game football manager.
Yeah, that's it.
Aye. You just put in. I mean, guys are paid a fortune. These the actual scouts that are scouting players are putting the data into Football Manager and that. Do you know what I mean? It's them that are helping keep that game so realistic with the data and the stats and stuff. So, I mean, isn't it great? I mean, JFPs are great with Tony Bloom and all this stuff and all that, but what Tony Bloom was doing was so great. Why does Real Madrid not just do the same thing and throw £100 million at it more than he does and make it even better for them?
Mm-hmm.
It's just all these kind of buzzies of stuff about transfers and that, Paul. But all that the data stuff is a big part of it. But it's no rocket science. I know that's a bit of a kind of double whammy.
Sure, what Liverpool doing it for years, sure, didn't they? And Jurgen Klopp came in, but he ripped it all up, didn't he? Fucking, and the sport director that time he got the sack, and when Jurgen Klopp left, they brought back in that sport, so they're back using
all that money stuff.
Yeah. He's back now by signing all these players from now again by the same director of football that Jurgen Klopp wanted out. You know. There's talks about him going to Real Madrid again, I heard there. Klopp, actually. You know.
Or going to Munich.
Yeah. No, Madrid.
I thought Mourinho was going to Madrid.
I don't know. Jesus Christ. I saw that as well, like.
I thought I seen that's who the president had come out in public.
He's another man, Mark, that just brings trouble around himself. Ashley does by Mourinho, don't he? You know.
Aye.
He's brand of football. Nobody is gone, I think.
That's outdated. Everybody realises that, and hopefully in the next couple of years somebody comes out and outdates Pep's kind of style that's taking over the game.
Well, Ange was at one stage, but he went to the wrong club. Actually, did. I bet you they were regretting sacking him now, because he actually had the momentum with the squad when in the Europa League.
Aye, see if they just kept him on, Paul. Aye, but that's just that's Paul. That's the nature of the pub league.
Yeah. You want getting away from sack, Mark, down there, but yeah.
We've spoke about this on pause before, and that. We spoke about it there with McKenna. Do you know with McKenna earlier on? You can understand why managers want to go there because it not just even their personal money, but the money they've got to spend on players and all the stuff like that, and even building a reputation, the coverage you get, the press they get, blah, 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 blah. Because there's no other league in the world. You've got, like, you go to Spain, you've got Real Madrid, Barcelona, Germany, you've got really only Bayern Munich, France, you've got PSG, do you know what I mean? And then every other team just kind of prop them up. Whereas in England, because of Sky TV's coverage, every team's kind of always pushed down, and that's how you get guys that actually support the league rather than like individual teams. But when it comes to the managers, you can see why they want to do it because of the level of putting themselves out there and blah blah, money they can spend on players. But there's no long-term prospects in the pub league. I mean, even they're just talking about the Man United job. Right, Carrick's done well and it looks as if he's going to get that, but do you think Michael Carrick will still be Man United manager this time next year?
I don't know, I think it would be the exact same what they did to Solskjaer, but yeah. Few games you fucking lose there, but doesn't matter, Mark. You know what I mean?
You know what I mean?
But yeah, you know.
It's like imagine Man United went to say Ange and says, "What about the manager?"
They were talking to Roy Keane about it, all right? And Roy Keane was saying it, and Roy Keane is right. At the moment, he's caretaker manager, all right? Putting his hands around the players, he's not making no big decisions with that a normal manager would make. The minute he comes a permanent manager, he's making all the decisions. And he said that's when he needs to tell players, you're being sold, you're not, do you know what I mean? You're not part of my squad. This is where, and this is where the difference between the caretaker, because at the moment, Mark, you can be all buddy with them because you don't know if they're going to be there at the end of the season. Do you get me? You know?
Aye.
But the minute you come manager then, Mark, it's a different kettle of fish, like, you know. Like, we know Martin Neal's not going to be there. You know, and Martin Neal kind of knows that himself.
Aye, but to the same extent, the players that are there, they knew, and that will know.
Mark, we need Celtic need to get disappointment done. That's why I saw Bobby's post there, like the three names, Martinez. I don't think Martinez is the right option, mainly because I expect Portugal to go far in the World Cup. And Celtic have pre-season, we'll have qualifiers in Europe. I mean, you can't have a manager come in a week or two before freaking Europa League qualifier, Mark. I mean, this appointment needs to be done straight away and in the door for pre-season, and that's why a lot of these new players signings, Mark, as well, need to come in. Like Keane was saying, like, I'll go back to Keane because I always watched Europe, and man's football brain, Mark, is unbelievable. Roy Keane's like things that he says, like, you know what I mean? Like, pre-season it's not just about fitness. It's about getting your squad ready, your new players in, and get them to bond around the team when it's a more relaxed environment. You know what I mean? And that's the problem with Celtic over the years, Mark. We're buying players, Mark, at the last day of transfer window. I mean, and the season's already started. You know, it's ridiculous, man. And
especially, Paul, when we know that we've got the players in our squad that will welcome guys and make them, do you know what I mean? Make them feel part for any place in the world.
Yeah.
Do you get what I mean? We can sign players for anywhere in the world, and there's guys in the Celtic squad that will be able to talk to them in their own language, invite them round for a meal to welcome, get them into the family environment that they are welcoming. We're all pals here, kind of thing. Do you know what I mean?
I heard your mad back in Glasgow.
What?
I heard your mad back in Glasgow. Back at Celtic because the team he was on loan with got relegated.
Oof.
And they cancelled the rest of his season. The last few games they cancelled. He's back in Glasgow. I don't think he can play for us now, Mark, because he's not registered.
No, I'm not be registered to play.
But he's actually back in. He's actually back in Glasgow. You know, he was not a bad signing. Jesus Christ, man. Jesus Christ, man. I don't know.
But stuff like that, Paul, as well, that all goes back as well to who's signing the players.
We don't know.
I mean, we get back to Ange. I mean, it's like people going about it, Ange done this and done this for his first window. Aye, Ange got his good players for Japan and that, but as I've said, Paul, there's no way Ange went and got his Carter Vickers or went and picked Jota or players like that. They were club signings. And Rodgers, he stoked the fire with that talk and with club signings. Do you know what I mean? After the transfer window, Rodgers talked about club signings, and that was a sneaky fucking move. Do you know what I mean? Because every signing at every club is a club signing.
Yeah,
it's like they're Chelsea. They're Chelsea sacked their manager again. Many managers that they've had this season.
Jesus Christ, man, unbelievable, Mark.
And do you think that them sacking that boy the other day has changed any of their plans for what players are signing in the summer? Not, but they're all
going to be back. Palmer's going to be back. Johnny Kelly will be back. Nowosky will be back. I liked Rocky, I did like him, Mark. And I think he would have actually suited Rodgers.
I No, I think he'd have suited O'Neill.
Yeah, O'Neill, sorry,
A
O'Neill.
big kind of physical, kind
But
of
he's
eye.
injured again, Mark.
Just was
He's
the
injured
quickest.
again. He's injured again.
The Rocky is.
Yeah, he's injured again.
Well,
yeah.
that's right. That's right. I saw that.
Injured again. Like, so that's his problem, but his injuries. Like, and I told you that, Mark, when we signed him, that Fonica's cousin Philip was laughing that we actually paid the money for him because of his injury record, and he constantly pulling out of Poland squads over injury. You know, his injury record was supposed to be unbelievable, but I think it's going back to what you said. Like, who's scouting these players? Who's looking, like, what are we looking at in the player? Are we looking at their injury records, their characters? I don't know, man, what we're looking at, Mark, to be honest.
Aye. Full recruitment departments
But what's
definitely
this
need
fella?
overhaul.
Like, there's no one there out the moment, as we can presume. This fella from Chelsea that we bought in, I think, is it? He's there, is he? Is he looking after it now, or do we know who's looking after it now? I think it was Sean Maloney that was kind of doing stuff just to get players in, Mark. I think
James Bell Walker.
Yeah. So what's his role?
See, he's scout, is he? No.
It's a scout.
Aye, he took over for that Jay Lafayette.
Yeah.
Aye, he took over his job, I'm sure.
You know, like, we just don't need a new manager. Like, we need a whole fucking football department. Jesus Christ, man, the club is in a shambles, but you know, really is, but ain't this?
Aye, everything's just no. It's I mean, we hear it for JFP all the time when they go on about everything's world class and stuff like that. But when you look under the bonnet, nah, Celtics. Do you know what I mean? They're just no. They're no, when it comes to scouting and stuff, we're miles behind teams that are worse off than us, Paul, financially.
Jesus Christ, we are, boy. Yeah.
But I mean, we really are.
For the bank balance we have, Mark, isn't it? Jesus.
Aye. And it's, I mean, we speak about it and that all the time, Paul. We don't want Celtic out and just blow money on stuff. I don't care if somebody costs £200,000 or costs £20 million.
Once he's good.
Aye, that's it. Do you know what I mean? See, if we were, I mean, and I mean, football's money driven now. You get what you pay for stuff, but obviously there's bargains out there. We know that, but Celtic just seem to be in a rutty people. I mean, me and you, we don't really get into that kind of thing, Paul, with the board. You know what I mean? We may keep on to the kind of football side of stuff, but.
Mm-hmm.
There's just something so far wrong at Celtic that they can't. We've got nobody out there that can spot a good player for us.
I think, do you know what? If the season wasn't so bad this season, they would have bitten a Nottingham Forest hand off for the 25 million for England's the transfer window. They would have taken it like a shot, Mark, only for the heat was on the board. And they knew if they'd done that they would have been holy war within the fans. That's what, you know. That's what they would have been.
Was that a real bid, but Paul, was it? I thought I read that was somebody not.
No, came in. No, Sean Dyche actually said that in an interview. Well, yeah, they did put in a bid for him and it was knocked back. Yeah, Sean Dyche actually said that. But yeah, Sean Dyche. He actually said it in an interview at the end of the transfer window. Right? They said, yeah, we put in a bid, but it was rejected by Celtic because they couldn't get a replacement in.
I mean, even can go back to even like with guys like Kuhn, Kyogo. Well, Kyogo, obviously, that was another kind of signing. Obviously, Kuhn wasn't he? Jota.
But he wanted to leave. If a player wants to leave,
Paul.
Yeah.
But what happened to our scouting for finding Jota and finding Kuhn?
Yeah.
What we're funding now. Do you get that's what I'm saying? What went wrong there?
Yeah.
Because back to what I'm saying, Paul. We don't need to spend 10 million on a player. When you can go,
does the man McKay have a lot to do with it? So, Mark, does he? Because he came in saying our wage bill is the highest we've ever been. You're looking, going, no wonder it's the highest ever been. Look at the size of the first team squad, and look at the wages of playing these players. who aren't even getting in the first team squad, Mark.
Aye.
You know,
Aye.
you know.
And
So
that's where you need to trim the fat, Paul.
Well, we
because
played the likes of Backroom, Mark, about 10,000, 12,000, I say.
I'd guess at that, aye.
I say so, Mark. You know, and this fella's not even getting into the squad. Do you know? I don't think I say he's only been in the squad, Mark, all season. Max 3 or 4 times, I say.
Well, I mean, Paul, let's put it this way, right? We spent 5 million on Balikwisha. We've got that my Muvka guy that we were talking about earlier on. They were probably paid a loan fee for. We'll be paying a percentage wages. That I'm due. The other winger guy or whatever that looks as if he never kicked a football before in his life.
Mm-hmm.
We're paying a loan fee on him, and we're paying a percentage wages. So there's £5 million plus the loan fees.
Yeah.
Let's say £6 million plus the wages. I think the player we could have just bought for the £6 million plus all the wages lumped together.
It's not that either, Mark. It's not that either, Mark. It's down to, and I'm going to go back to Rogers and Ange. Like, if we're willing to spend this money on average players, right? Why not throw the likes of Rocco Vata and Ben Doak into the team? Do you know what I mean? Give them that chance instead of fucking wasting money on average players that you're overspending. Do you know what I mean? Like, are these players Barry should think better than Rocco Vata? I don't think so, Mark. Are they? You know.
I don't know. I thought that's a bit of a tough one.
It is, but that's what I'm saying. Are you better off giving?
I've said this, Paul, for the start at podcast. I've got no problem with the money Celtic spend, transfer fees, but it's the wages. That's the barrier that's holding Celtic back. We need to break wages because there's right. You get into England, right? There's clubs doing all this. The player transfer fee amortization or whatever they call it, and all that's how they balance their books. They'll be willing to sell you a right good cracking young player for maybe £5 million because he's not going to make it a game, but that helps them balance their books that year. But that young guy might be looking for 40, 50 grand a week.
Yeah.
Right? If he's going to come up here and smash it, that's got to be worth it. Rather than spending £6 million on a player and getting him 15 grand a week, and you just a bit of hit and miss.
I'd even ask the question, Mark, of Brentford about keeping Arse for another season, but
I'd take him in loan for. They're not going to let us buy him. Do you know what I mean?
No.
Take him on for another year because that's Paul. That's the type of loan signing we should be getting.
Yeah, exactly.
A lone player should come in and be improving the squad. See if you can get a young guy like that and you know he's a decent player and that.
And I like the look of him, man. I like the look of him. He can pass the ball as well, man. He's fast and he's a big centre back as well, man. That's what he is.
Let's face it, Paul. We could see if we went out and bought a young guy or something like that. The money it would cost to buy him, and then they go away to just take a young guy like that on loan to come up here and learn his trade a bit. No, he's not. I mean, I wouldn't have him first choice, obviously, but I mean, definitely he'd be.
So, Mark, the amount of games now, boy, the amount of games we play football now, he could be easily making 10 to 15 appearances, like 20. Do you know what I mean?
So, definitely.
You know, they were saying there, is it Kobe Donovan, Mark, made about 22 appearances this season between Europe and in the league and cups. I mean, that's great for a youngster, like.
Aye. And that's got to be either, depending, as we said, whether like what happens with Arojo, do you know what I mean, and AJ. But Donovan, for me,
do you think he could be away, Mark? AJ, it's 5 seasons now. He's been at the club now, nearly, right? AJ.
We said earlier, Paul, with a good World Cup, you could get a right hefty bid in for him because, I mean, I just spoke all his stats, so they're all when he is playing. But he has had a couple of kind of injury knocks and stuff like that. But I mean, depends. What kind of value would put on AJ?
10 to 15 million, Mark, easily, but yeah.
10 to 15.
Yeah, would you go more?
I'd have him a wee bit more than that, Paul. Just, again, if he's fully fit and firing, I'd have him like in the 15 to 20 million bracket.
Yeah. You know, because he's still a crack. He's only 27, I think. Is that all he is? Is he younger? You know, that's what he is. You know, I say, Mark, it'll be... And another player too we need to be questioned, I think, is Carter Vickers.
Oh, I can't hunt him. I've never been that. I've never been that enamoured with him, Paul. You know that? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just his injury record.
It's been bad, though, Mark. The last 2 seasons, hasn't it? Like he missed the whole last season's Champions League qualifiers. You know. I know.
He misses a hell of a lot of important games, Paul.
Yeah.
He really is. So, I'd be quite happy. As I said, you know, I've never been that great a fan of him as such as a centre back.
I don't think there's going to be many teams coming for Mark, to be honest, because of his injury record. Yeah. Don't think.
Plus, Paul, one of the reasons for his height, his lack of height for a centre back.
But that's why English teams wouldn't go for Mark. We talked about that when we signed him, because that's why Spurs, we never broke into the Spurs team, because they didn't raise his height because of his lack of height for centre back down there that time,
I mean, I can see Carter Vickers maybe probably going to maybe an American team or that, maybe in the summer, Paul.
Yeah.
In the MLS, aye.
I've been trying to agree with you,
I mean, how much money would you want for Carter Vickers?
Jesus Christ, Mark, I say we're lucky to get 5 million for him now at this stage, I say. And that sounds true because of his records, just because of he hasn't played for a full season, Mark. You know, I say we'd be lucky to get that boy. How long does he have left his contract? 2 years.
Seconds. Oh, 2029.
Jesus Christ, he's on a big cut. He's going to finish his career here, Mark.
He's going to get a Bobo Baldi. He's only 26, Paul.
Jesus Christ, is that all he is he?
Aye, he is. He's only 26.
Christ, these beards make players look a lot older than they actually are, do you know that? Jesus Christ, man.
It's just we look young, Paul. That's all it is.
You know, fucking Kobe Donovan there, he's trying to go bare, just shave it, will you? Just shave it.
up there with Luke McCow's moustache.
Oh,
when puberty hits that, it'll be a belter.
It's brutal, isn't it? He's another player, Mark, that gives his all. I know he's not the greatest and stuff like that, but I mean, he gives his all, you know.
I like him for that because he's one of the players. He's obviously on there, and he knows his limitations. But as you said, he'll give everything he's got.
But that's
whether he's on for an hour, a game, 10 minutes, 5 minutes, he'll give everything. And Paul, you can't ask for any more than that.
No, and he's a goal limb as well, Mark. He's about the only one, Mark, that'll take a shot from outside the box when in the squad. Yes, we will. You know,
I've said that to you for years, Paul. I can take Celtic getting beat, but I can't take players coming off the pitch being.
Well, that Dundee nice again. I know the pitch was bad and stuff like that,
but
lazy. We did not turn up for that game. We didn't turn up for that game.
No,
you know,
I can't forgive that. That's how whether people give players pelters for passes, misplaced passes. The guys even get back to me, Greg Taylor, Scales. Do you know what I mean? You know that these guys are coming after you and they've left everything on that park for you. And
that's right. That's what I like about Sriracha, Mark.
Aye.
Sriracha goes into that midfield. Yeah, and he goes into that midfield too then as well. Do you ever notice that about Sriracha? He'll actually go into the midfield as well. Sriracha as like an important role. I like that about Sriracha. Taylor's not going to do that. And maybe that's what Cal McGregor's missing this season, Mark. The likes of Taylor next to him, that's going in, pushing into that role. You know?
I've noticed that. But Paul, I've even noticed Rojo doing that during games as well.
Yeah.
Coming in and doing what Greg Taylor used to do.
You know? that was another big blunder by for not keeping him on. But I want to tell in fairness, Mark, want this. Yeah.
But I think he just he coming back. He just knew maybe wouldn't he?
Yeah, but I mean,
just like Ralston, but right. I mean, I don't know. I don't even know how it's went for wee Taylor there in Greece and that, but it's like Ralston.
I don't think it's going well, but Ralston's quite happy. Mark, he knows he's role in the squad. I think, but I don't think Ralston. Do you know what I mean? He's quite happy with that, boy.
But he's good enough to play for some other team every week, Paul.
Yeah.
Surely to God at some time is going to click that I'm not getting any younger. Go to, I don't know, somebody like Dundee United or Hibs or something where he's going to be a first choice every week. He's done his service for Celtic, Ralston. He deserved it there. Do you know what I mean? That kind of way.
Right, I
think Taylor was, for me, Taylor was the same. He gave everything he got for Celtic. Hell, a lot of fans didn't appreciate him. Gave him dogs up, and it wasn't right because as I said, he gave everything every single game, and it was nowhere near as bad as he was made out to be with all the fans on social media and stuff like that. Be Greg Taylor.
No.
But it's probably, I don't right. If you're saying it's not worked out for him in Greece, he'll probably come back to Scotland. Like in the summer, on loan for a year or something, and still getting good money for the team in Greece, but he'll be on loan there in Scotland at, again, a Dundee United or a Hibs or something, then he'll get a free transfer the following season or that. It was a big stupid kind of jump for Taylor to take for me to go to Greece. There must be having a serious money in it.
Must be, Mark, that's what I'm thinking about it.
Because he'd have been offered to stay in. You know what I mean? Obviously, Greg Taylor's leaving Celtic. You'd like to think like even the likes of Hearts. Do you know what I mean? Maybe obviously no the Huns, but you'd like to think even Hearts or Aberdeen or.
Do you know what player I don't like from them? The fella Fenley. I think he's a dirty player. Fella Fenley for Hearts. The centre back. He's a dirty player, but that's what he is. And we need to watch out for their set pieces. They always score in the fucking set piece against us. That's what they do. Jesus Christ, man. We're shocking that Martin O'Neill has brought a bit of fucking common sense back to defending. Now, get your fucking head in the ball. Do you know what I mean?
Paul, that's what we've not had. We've not got somebody like that. It's like, right there when I'm talking about Greg Taylor, right? We spoke about this, Paul. How many times did Celtic concede goals at the back post and all the fans were blaming Greg Taylor?
Yeah, but we're still conceding them.
Right, but see the time, Paul, whoever was crossing the opposition left wing was getting by a right back. They were crossing the ball with two centre backs and our keeper were missing it and it was getting to the back post. So it was, do you know what I mean? It wasn't all down to Greg Taylor. It was back, and even getting down to that, it was back to Kasper Schmeichel.
Not coming out by that. Like I heard, like 6 yard box is your area, Mark. You know what I mean? And I'm not. My height is fucking ridiculous, like because I'm tiny. But even I know to fucking even to get a fist in the ball. But Schmeichel didn't even get a fist in the ball at that stage.
He never even came for it. I've said it. You mentioned it earlier. We spoke about it on here and before. A goalkeeper comes for the ball and misses it. See if he is doing and screams and claims for a foul. 9 times out of 10 he'll get it. And the way the modern game is. Do you know what I mean?
The keeper now, boy. Yeah, can't touch the keeper now. We let it there, boy. It's just 2.5 hours.
Aye. I said to you an hour ago if you were finished, you were like,
no, it's grand. I just need to take him out for a walk. You know?
My wee blood just shooting away again. It's shooting away him the day. My sister's.
We minded today, yeah.
Oh, that was what, 12. It was meant to be 10 days and end up 12.
Jesus.
Oh.
Hard work, by when it's a pup.
Aye. Because as I said to Jack, we didn't get Yoda. He was 6 months, Paul. So we kind of missed the gnawing and the chewing and the being a wee. Do you know what I mean? And even peeing in the house and stuff like that. Yoda never done anything like that because he was 6 months by the time we got him and the boy had trained him well. But
Yeah, but she was still cleaning up after you, though. So then,
I just used to be, used to be older. Hey, Jack, yeah,
wasn't that in a film or something? I heard about that. So someone blamed the dog, and the fucking father came in and got their dog put down. And it was the son that did a piss in the floor, and he blamed the dog, and the dog got put down over it. I don't know. It was a film.
That was a film. That was
Jesus Christ, man. Go on, bud. We'll close off, man, because I have to get done.
Right, no bother, Paul. Right, thanks very much for coming on, bud. Right, good night.
Good luck, buddy. Bye.
Right, bye. Right, thanks everybody for listening in. Hope you enjoyed it. Just me and Paul just chatting shit. It just goes a wee bit wonky at times, but hope you all enjoyed it. Everybody, hit the like button. If you know how, leave a comment. And we'll be back. We'll try and get something sorted for the holiday weekend and that as well. Right? Hail, good night, and God bless.